Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Wrestling is
So
Cool
hard
podcast. The wrestling
to
podcast.
Hi to Carlito. Ooh.
Oh, yes, this is now the eulogy of Carlito. He was a cool man. All he did was like apples and WWE 2K25. The day he finally got 2K25, he was abruptly murdered on live TV by Braun Breaker. We might be the coolest wrestling podcast on the planet, but that may have been the coolest spear in the history of spears. Sancho, this or the I Show Speed spear? What was the better spear? What was the best one?
Oh, I gotta go with honestly this one, but a sleeper shout out to the one he did to Sheamus. Sheamus when he jumped off the stairs. That was kind of a gnarly one. I have to give it to this one because it just looks so obscenely unreal. It's like his body had aftertouch in the air. Like I don't even know how is that possible. Like you from 1 second it looked like he was gonna impale himself into the ground, and the next he's like fine. This guy's an animal. He's unreal.
It wasn't, you know how like Bobby Lashley does like a little flip when he does his spear? It is not like that because like Braun Breaker ran like a 440 like an NFL player because he basically was. He lawn darts himself like a World War II torpedo out of a U.S. tanker in the middle of the Atlantic. Right through Carlito. Do you know what was crazy about that spear? It's like he stopped at Carlito and then he hit double jump and then jumped past the spear. It's not like he rolled through with it. It's like he hit Carlito and then got more air, beyond it.
I absolutely love the way Carlito laid down right afterwards. He was like all mangled like Peter Griffin. It was so good.
Go back and watch that. The second that lands, you can see Dominic Mysterio bursting out laughing in the background. You can see Dominic like just trying to hold back his laughter because it was the funniest thing I've seen in a long time. And you know what's more poetic about all of this? The fact that Carlito was on CVV talking about how he hates taking spears from Braun Breaker.
It was so good because he was like, I don't want to do it. He hurts a lot. And then Chris Evans like, you don't want to work with Braun Breaker? You don't want to be in a match? He's like, no, I don't want to ever be in one. So good. Shout out to Chris Van Vliet, man. He was on the recent SmackDown.
He was behind there, looking all handsome.
I know.
He's unfairly handsome. Like, give some to the rest of us of CVV. Well, folks, welcome to the Wrestling is Cool podcast, coolest wrestling podcast on the planet. You could be getting this episode 3 days earlier than the rest of the world over on patreon.com/SantiZap. But that Patreon isn't just for podcast episodes. You also get the Raw reviews with footage, the SmackDown reviews with footage, 5 weekly Match Club watch-alongs that you get to vote for. And over the next couple of weeks, we are in WrestleMania mode where we're voting on some of the most popular WrestleMania matches of all time. You get my Undertaker WrestleMania watch along, which is coming to an end. We're almost at the very end, Sancho. You get Sancho's Royal Rumble watch alongs. He's coming to the very end. So there is so much more extra content on the Patreon for just 5 doubloon, 5 smackers. That's all. We don't gatekeep based on tiers. You get all of the content for just $5. And that is an insane amount of value for that price. So go check it out. Patreon.com/SantiZap. Link in the description or wherever it is. Links might be in the platform that you might be listening to. Sancho, WrestleMania season is real now. Didn't it feel like we just sort of like blinked and appeared like 2 weeks away from WrestleMania? It felt like we were really far away from WrestleMania, like looking at the calendar right after Elimination Chamber. And it almost feels like the European crowd and the early start times kind of like hit the fast forward button because I felt like we blinked and now we only have 1 episode of Raw left before WrestleMania.
That's true. It reminds me of because when they were like, oh, dude, this is the last scheduled event for John Cena before Mania. I was like, oh, my God, we're not going to see John Cena for a while. But no, it was only like a couple of weeks. And then, boom, we're going to be back in Mania. It reminds me of Infinity War. Like all of a sudden that you start and Thanos is on the ship destroying everybody that just left Thor's Asgard. So, yeah, man, we're in full force. It feels different. I think last year it felt more like a chaotic build. It felt more like a traditional build. Like we had pieces building on top of each other. I feel like this one is literally, it's not as pretty. It's not as finesse. It's a different kind of cooking from Triple H, man. It's batch cooking. What does it mean? He's meal prepping. It's a different kind of cooking. There's not as as Michelin star as we got last year. And I would just wonder, is that it's different. I think this is a different Mania than we're going to get. I feel like this is going to be more of a spectacle and less so more than built on a long arching story, right?
Mhm.
It's going to be a spectacle on all ends, on all sides of the cards, and all superstars going to be highlighted in a different way versus like everyone is the appetizer to the main dish of Cody Rhodes in the story.
I think there's a chance that this WrestleMania ends up being a better in-ring affair than last year's WrestleMania. I kind of look at the matches that we have announced, and there are so many matches that have me just watering at the mouth at how good they're probably going to be the night of, even if the story hasn't been great. Charlotte versus Tiffany Stratton, even though it took definitely like a big leap forward in terms of general interest, even though it might be the interest that they weren't necessarily trying to get. I know that match is going to bang. Like, I just know it's going to be really good. This women's triple threat's going to be fantastic. I know the men's triple threat's going to be great. We've got a Intercontinental Championship fatal four-way that's been built pretty well, but I know is going to be a delight when we see those guys just absolutely torching in the ring. We get to see a Jacob Fatu singles match at WrestleMania that a lot of people didn't think we were actually going to get. I think we could end up with a much better in-ring WrestleMania than WrestleMania 41. And I'm going to keep talking to prevent you from jumping in and talking about LA Knight, because I know that's what you want to do.
No, I want to say it's Jacob Fatu.
Oh, I said it wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I sometimes don't know. Do you have the same demeanor for when you want to make a Braun Strowman reference as you do when you want to make an LA Knight reference? So you're going to need to differentiate between the two.
Okay. I'll find the LA Knight glasses.
Yes. Yeah. That because you do the same thing with your body. You kind of like hunch over the mic and you kind of get ready for things.
I can't put the shades on. That's interesting aspect of it. I'm trying to be, because when people, oftentimes I feel like people confuse criticism or thoughts or analytical thought about something as you hate something. I don't hate
not
this.
people, wrestling fans. Normal people understand criticism and opinions. Wrestling fans think that you're stabbing their favorite wrestler in the heart. All right. You want to know how I know this? All right. I did like a tier list of where I think wrestlers rank in terms of in-ring ability. I put CM Punk in good, and people are like, what? You think he's good? He's amazing. It's like, bro, I literally said he's good. Like, what are you doing?
Is that based on work rate or ring psychology?
Literally just in-ring work. Literally just in-ring work. I said in the video, remove everything else, just in-ring work. CM Punk is one of my favorites of all time, but he's not the greatest in-ring worker. He never has been, but he's incredibly entertaining and one of the best professional wrestlers on the planet when you encompass everything. But yeah, like people took that as like, I rip their hearts out. So no, it's not just people think that you're hating on something when you provide criticism. It's just wrestling fans and Star Wars fans.
Wow. Throw in the Star Wars fans. Because what I wanted to say about this is, I think, yes, it's cool that we're getting all these multi-man matches. Yes, it's cool that we're getting these kind of hastily builds, and at least it's getting us somewhere interesting to watch now that Mania is inching closer and closer to like must absolutely get there and see it, change your schedule type of vibes for many. But the reason why we're at this problem, it's traffic jam. It's because all the other PLEs don't have multiple matches. We could have had Braun Breaker, Finn, and all these other guys have PLE matches so that when we got to this point of Mania, it would have pared down to a one-on-one. We could have had these moments where we could have had Roman and Seth and Punk and all that, and we got to a one-on-one situation. I've been telling you for the longest time, Santi, these 4 or 5 match cards are causing problems. They're causing problems, and this is a problem right here of the Mania. Now, you may be saying, Sancho, problem's a harsh word. It's just saying it's an interesting observation, my friend, is why are we having these multi-Mania matches when we could have spread it out a bit, brother. Spread out the love. We have a whole year of PLEs. We have on streaming services where we don't have a time designation to get in and out. We have Netflixes that should be 2 hours and a half. We have 3-hour SmackDowns, and you're telling me you're gonna have to shove everybody in the mid card into one match. You're gonna have a tag team gauntlet all of a sudden shoved into like one episode of SmackDown. Like, come on, man, spread out the love, brother. Spread it out a little bit. Spread it out.
Want to apologize to audio listeners there for a second. Sancho, when I took out my earbud, it started playing Spotify for like 3 seconds. So you were talking to like a beautiful song at the same time.
Oh wow, that's nice.
So it's like you were just so majestic that music had to
Yeah.
play during
Yes.
what you were saying. I'll leave that up in the Patreon. In the YouTube version, you'll probably just have a little like 3 second skip because we don't want to get hit with copyright. But no, I do kind of get where you're coming from with what you're saying here. It would feel like if all of these people that are getting WrestleMania matches, if they were getting spots at PLEs, it would feel like this WrestleMania spot would feel a lot more special, as opposed to it's WrestleMania season, so we got to get everyone on the card, right? And we're seeing the symptom of it's WrestleMania season, so we need to get everyone in the card, and we're seeing it with the women's tag team division. That women's tag team match should not exist at WrestleMania. I'm sorry, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, I love them, but WWE has done such a disservice to the women's tag team division that just putting them against a random pairing that most of the tag teams that are vying for this spot are not tag teams, dude. BFAB and Michin, that's not a tag team. Bailey and Lyra Valkyria, that's not a tag team. Maxine Dupree and Natalia, they've never tag teamed. They became a team on screen like last week. Caden Carter and Katana Chance haven't appeared in months on WWE TV. Secret Harvest, sure, but they're brand new as well. Like when I saw that graphic of like, we're going to do this gauntlet match to see who gets a shot at the women's tag titles at WrestleMania, I was like, man, this is like the most token match ever. They should have just had Liv Morgan insert herself into the Women's Intercontinental Championship picture and do something there, because this is just getting someone on the card for the sake of getting someone on the card. You know what it feels like? It doesn't even feel like they want to get the tag team division on the card. It almost feels like WWE feels like they owe Liv Morgan the WrestleMania spot because of how good she's been, and they don't want to leave Liv Morgan off the card, which fair enough. You should not be leaving Liv Morgan off the card, but I present to you the idea of maybe you should have just done some good storytelling for Liv Morgan on the lead up to WrestleMania, as opposed to just rushing something that's literally, Sancho, going to have one episode of SmackDown to build up, because we'll have the match, we'll know who the contender is, and then next week, a day before WrestleMania, we might have a confrontation between the women's tag teams. It's ludicrous what they're doing with the women's tag team division. It has no spot on the WrestleMania card as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that's what you ever try to say is like sometimes when we let Papa H cook is you kind of get distracted by all the smoke and mirrors sometimes and not understand that underneath it all is not exactly what it is. Like the lack of story in some places, and when you just put everybody in a multi-man, you think, boom, that's a story. Yes, there's a story with Finn Balor and Dom that's being built up for a long time, and we've seen it ever since SummerSlam way back in the day, and the whole thing about Finn taking the card away to protect Dom from Liv, like all that is there, and then unfortunately we just are unable to explore long because we ran out of time. But Penta and Braun should have just been in a match in itself. Finn and Dom could be on it, but don't get me wrong. The idea and prospect and what always works in Triple H cooking is that out of nowhere, unexpected type result. And the only way you can get Dom, just to touch this lightly, the only way you can get Dom in a scenario that he could win an IC title is if he is in a fatal 4-way. So I understand there is pros and cons to this type of booking. There's pros and cons to baby stepping your way to a story. There's pros and cons of just flash firing it and light it on fire, because who knows, dude, maybe this is a way to establish the women's division, the tag team division, the same way you would like I'm trying to think about the SmackDown tag team division. I like that build a lot more than the version that they're doing now. But if the result is the fallout, if they if Natalia and Maxine do end up as a tag team, if BFAB and Michin do end up as a tag team, great. Now we have something to build with, and hopefully the gauntlet could allow that. They need to build off that gauntlet, and it's kind of like reverse engineering the tag team division for the women, whereas the men's SmackDown tag team division, beautiful, because that's going to be a 6 tag team ladder match, right? That has to happen soon, and I'm sure they're going to book that very, very soon in the next when SmackDown rolls.
Here's where I kind of like want to put a fork in your socket with what you're saying. Like, I get
why do you want to electrocute me? Why can't you just raise a flag, maybe? Gently tap my shoulder?
No, I'm going to put a fork in your socket. A wet one, too, a wet fork. What I get what you're saying. We can use this gauntlet match to build the women's tag team division if it was June, not if it was 2 weeks out from WrestleMania. That's the crux of the problem.
Oh, I think you know what, I do foresee what's going to end up happening, because have you seen Kairi Sane lately on IG?
No.
Oh my God, pull it up right now.
Okay.
You need to see Kairi Sane. She is getting jacked, brother. She is getting bigger. She is her protein intake is at an insane level for her, because she is building out a frame. And Asuka's been on ice. I think this is a great way to reintroduce them for the Raw after Mania. So I think what they're right. Look at her.
Yeah, well,
right?
It makes sense, man. She's training with formerly known as Xia Li, who's now in TNA, and Xia Li was jacked. So if you're training with Xia Li, man, if you're doing that program, yeah, she's getting dieseled.
Dude, she's getting. I think the reason why she's doing that is, as you get older, you have to change your moveset, and you can't be so much as a high flyer. But imagine a Jack Kairi Sane coming down with that insane elbow.
Dude, so she's turning into AJ Styles. She's following the AJ Styles trajectory.
AJ Stacks, baby. But yeah, I think that like if the excuse is to kind of hopscotch together something of a tag team and have a vehicle to introduce the Kabuki Warriors at the Raw after Mania, I'm down. But Raw, it could have been like a Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy situation. Yeah, Santi from wrestling is cool.
Could we call her? Yes, brother, Kyrie Bane. Time to go mobile. I had to find a way to sneak in the Dark Knight. Kyrie Bane. Her and Asuka. Yeah. They're expecting one of us in the wreckage, sister.
Time to drop the elbow, brother. Dude, Bane would be a sick wrestler.
Isn't there a version of Bane that's a Mexican luchador?
Yeah. He was a luchador, but just that version, Tom Hardy's Bane would be a sick wrestler, because we try to get it with John Moxley, Dean Ambrose.
Oh, it's not going great. It's not going great.
Oh, dude, I people want to know, why did John Moxley go so off the deep end? Brother, did you see what Vince was putting him through at his end of his WWE career? The man was a Bane type of character and got rabies and got a shot on TV for the rabies.
A gas mask. I like the jacket he was wearing at that time. That was a nice jacket.
It was a sick jacket. It's interesting to watch the rise of Dean Ambrose and how close he was to glory when he was going up against Triple H in that Rumble, and that him actually cashing in and winning in that match we saw in Match Club. Dude, that was interesting. But back to the logjam of Mania. It's going to be one of those things where is this a safe place?
Go ahead.
It's a question. It's a question. If AEW can do it, I think that WWE is realizing that they could do it too. That they could just put together a bangers of matches based on the names itself. The difference is that WWE layers in stories as much as it can, and AEW does layer stories as well, but their stories are done through in-ring action, less so more on the mic. And when the WWE doesn't have it doesn't have the high quality on the mic, sometimes the stories are, at least they get made up for in the ring. Does that make sense? Because like the build for Mania is not the best quality on all these matches, but I know the in-ring's going to be there.
Yeah, that's Charlotte Tiffy to a T. I really believe that that's the case. I appreciate WWE trying, even if it's not always the best, but they do always try to develop a narrative. They try, even if it ends up being something super last minute. I'm sure they're going to try to create a narrative, not just women's tag team match has been set. I am certain that they will try a narrative, or the wrestlers will create a narrative on social media, videos on X, on Instagram, TikTok, whatever it might be. That's one thing that WWE wrestlers have just become innately really good at. If they aren't getting the TV time, what do? They go to social media and they give themselves the TV time. Something that was frowned upon back in the early 2010s with Long Island IZ, the true Long Island story with Zack Ryder. Now it seems like it's a necessary thing. Karrion Kross, like he kept himself relevant with his IG and in Twitter videos.
But that's what I mean. Like AEW is doing it, And I'm just saying it works so well with AEW. And I think there are times that WWE looks at AEW and goes like, well, we could do that. We could put together like the 4 banger matches of Braun Breaker and Penta. We could throw them in there. We know they're going to be banging. We could put that, like you mentioned, Tiffy and Charlotte. They know they're going to bang. But what is interesting to me is like they're always going to try to throw in a story. And maybe that doesn't need to be in some cases. Maybe it could just be 2 guys wanting to throw in bang every match, because that's going to have to happen with Rey Fenix. If they're going to want Rey Fenix on Mania, he's not going to have a deep story. But when AEW, because when Dynasty went rolled around, they had banger matches, right? And they could put in Will Ospreay with anybody, and they're going to have a banger match. And what they did in Dynasty. I'm just saying that there's room for both in this world. There's room for both, and they could pull and take from other people. And that's what's so interesting about the Hurt Syndicate as well, that the Hurt Syndicate have a interesting story with MJF. And I know I'm crossing the world here, and I know people don't like it, but what I do enjoy that when you add a little bit of story to something with great in-ring action, there's still good stuff there. You don't need much story, and sometimes the WWE does overcook their stories. So I'm seeing this more of a Mania build that has a little bit of that AEW. We don't have much, but we're gonna put on a banger of a match.
Just have more trust in AEW delivering in-ring storytelling than WWE does, because they're willing and able to go much further than they can on WWE TV and with their style of matches to really hit home with whatever in-ring storytelling that they're trying to do, as opposed to WWE, where there seems to be a lot more barriers and limiters in terms of the things that they're able to do in ring to tell a story. That's why I think WWE, for the most part, needs to have a narrative going into their matches.
Yeah, do you feel that sometimes when you're watching WWE, when it comes to stories, it's like, well, for example, Io, Rhea, Bianca, we've had the same kind of setup to their same kind of result. Rhea, Bianca disrespect Io. It's literally happened 4 times in a row. But what the WWE does is that they take all these moments and they cut it into the perfect video package, so that when you jump back on board, for the people who are casual fans, they jump on board for Mania like, oh my God, look at all this crazy stuff that's happened. This match is going to be awesome. So when you're watching religiously, like we do, and the people that are listening to this podcast do, you could kind of go like, oh, well, there was a little hiccup there. There's a little missed up pair. This segment didn't work this week. But then when you throw it all together for the greatest hits, it's like, man, what a ride this build was. And I feel that WWE does that, and they do a great job trying to get people, like, was it Monday Night Raw had like, what, 6 replay packages?
It was a good amount.
They had a lot.
Yeah.
It was a good amount. But you got to understand, it's a necessary thing to do, because that's how we make sure that everybody's still involved in the story week to week. But it could be tiring for the people that like us that watch every week.
All right, well, speaking of stories, let's talk about one of the biggest story elements and the biggest story pieces that's moving forward. One of the biggest feuds going into WrestleMania, Paul Heyman and his favors. Paul Heyman and the Favors. That sounds like a band from the 60s, doesn't it? Paul Heyman and the Favors. Now, welcome into the stage, Paul Heyman and the Favors. My name.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh no. All right, so we've got CM Punk's favor has been officially revealed, which is exactly what I thought it was going to be for the last little while, which was Paul Heyman will come out with CM Punk and be in his corner instead of Roman Reigns. Right off the rip, the second that was revealed, I was like, figured as much. And I knew the wrestling community was going to be upset. Those that just cannot fathom a world where it's just a triple threat that doesn't have to involve a title were going to lose their minds. I knew that people that wanted the winner to go to the night 2 main event were setting themselves up for a colossal disappointment. This, however, Sancho, even though this isn't get added to the night 2 main event, night 2 main event, title opportunity, this was the best available choice to make this match even more WrestleMania main event worthy, because now what we have is a story piece, a plot device in Paul Heyman that actually gives us an interweaving web, a trifecta, why all 3 guys hate each other and want to take each other out. We already knew about Roman and Seth, their history, why they hate each other. Seth and Punk have hated each other for the better part of a year, but there really wasn't that animosity between Roman and Punk. Boom, we got it. Now we have a full triangle. All 3 are properly connected it. All three want to destroy each other. It's as simple as that. And all it took was the addition of the wise man, my best friend, Paul Heyman, into the equation. And now we have Seth Rollins trying to manipulate Paul Heyman to the point where now people are thinking that Paul Heyman's going to walk out with Seth Rollins. This was by far the best decision to have the favor be this. Anything else would have been cool, but it wouldn't have created the drama that we have going into this match and the intrigue, because now the question, now that we have Seth Rollins in his ear, is where does Paul Heyman's allegiances actually lie? Because Seth Rollins brought up some very good plot holes that I thought they were never going to plug up for a really long time as to why Paul Heyman was never saved by CM Punk or Roman Reigns when he was being tortured and abused by Solo Sikoa. All of that's been brought up to create doubt and confusion in Paul Heyman's head. Doubt and confusion which will certainly create drama in their triple threat match. This was the correct choice for it to be the favor. Would it have been cool to have winner go to night 2? Sure, I would have been on board with that. But I promise you, this is the best decision for the favor. Go ahead, disagree. You already had that stupid face. That dumb face you make when you're like, when your mustache does that cute little twirly thing, looking all majestic. Go ahead, rain on my parade and be all Debbie Downer about it. Go ahead.
Listen, man, this is an example. The WWE. Adding the triple threat, adding Paul, adding the story to this triple threat is the difference to when another promotion would say, we're just putting the best three, the big three in there, and they're going to figure out who's the best in the world. Why couldn't it just be about that? The best in the world. You have Roman Reigns, who's holding down the company for years, being at the top of this game. CM Punk over there, the other company, being the top of this game, self-proclaimed best in the world. And then you have the Young Buck and Seth Rollins, doing his thing in athleticism and all that. It could just be that simple. But when you build everything around Paul Heyman, now my shift of focus goes off those three and goes to Paul Heyman.
No, but it's been literally 1 week before Paul Heyman was added. Everybody's like, this should have just been a one-on-one match with Punk and Roman. Oh, no, between Punk and Seth. Or we should have just had Seth and Roman. We should have just had singles matches. We now have this plot device to make sense for all three of these guys to go at each other, and you're complaining. I don't get it, Sancho.
I'm just saying Paul Heyman it has not been established as somebody the worth that's been fighting for this run. He is nerfed. He's not Paulie dangerously anymore. He runs scared. He doesn't stand up for himself. He doesn't have any plans. He doesn't politic his way anymore. This is a guy that just walks out, says, ladies and gentlemen, gets intimidated and runs scared. I need a reestablishment of power. Someone said CM Punk getting in the main event shows that he has power. Like, is it though? It wasn't because of Rome. It wasn't because of the wise man. It was because of Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns took credit. He was like, it's because of me. You could thank me, acknowledge me. So that's great. My point I'm trying to explain to you, in the match, when we're there, what are you going to be waiting for the entire time? When you're seeing the great Roman Reigns, the great Seth Rollins, and CM Punk wrestling, what are you going to be waiting for, my friend? What are you going to be waiting for?
I think a lot of people are going to wait for the Paul Heyman turn, but it might never come.
Now I'm asking you, what are you going to wait for, brother?
I'm going to wait for a really good match. I'm not of the mind that we're going to need Paul Heyman to get himself involved to help somebody win the match. That's just not where I lie. I think this is a purely psychological play, a brilliant one at that. I think that you are looking at this as like whoever has Paul Heyman is going to win the match, but I just don't think that's going to be the case. To me, this was just a move to get us to connect Roman and Seth in a way where like now the triple threat makes sense. And yeah, I get it. Paul Heyman isn't this like figurehead that makes mountains move anymore, but that's not why CM Punk wants him. CM Punk just wants his best friend beside him. And now what Roman Reigns, if he looks around, he's a tribal chief where all of his tribal members have disappeared. This is his last one. Now going to a different city, to the second city saint for one night, leaving Roman Reigns by himself.
So if that's the case, the WWE has a lot of work to do to show me how much the wise men what it means to Roman Reigns. I mean, he is going to appear Monday Night Raw in the go home. Is he going to ask for a favor from Paul? Is he going to say, "What's up, wise man? Where's my favor? You give favors to Seth." Now he owes Seth a favor, apparently.
That makes no sense, by the way. Oh, I didn't murder you. You owe me a favor.
But that's my point, Santi. We put in this cog of Paul Heyman, who is in a very explosive part to this pie, right? He is the flavoring of this seasoning to this triple threat that we're about to get. And my point is the WWE is not me. The WWE is telling us all eyes are going to be on Paul Heyman at Mania. Their commentary is going to focus on it. Who is Paul Heyman going to? There's going to be a moment in the ring where all three guys are down and only Paul Heyman's there, and he's going to have to make a decision. And there's going to be like, who's he going to help? He's going to help Roman. He's going to help CM Punk. He's going to help Seth Rollins. And that's what I'm talking about. The stakes of this match need to be shifted. The stakes of this match, you need to add that the winner is the number one contender. Because then it would mean so much more when Paul Heyman betrays somebody, or it means so much more when Paul Heyman latches himself to somebody. Because what does Paul Heyman do all the time? Paul Heyman latches himself to the biggest shark in the pool. He latches himself to the champion. So imagine this, in this scenario, Paul Heyman helps Seth Rollins win, right? Mm-hmm. This would give other people ammunition against Paul Heyman to say, look at you, Paul. You abandoned Roman. You abandoned CM Punk for what? For the next biggest thing, Seth Rollins, right? I know he's been around for a while, but the point I'm trying to make is Paul Heyman's ultimate criticism for a lot of people is that he just latches himself to the next star. He latched himself to Brock. He latched himself to CM Punk. He latched himself to Roman Reigns. Now he's going to latch himself to Seth Rollins because Roman is not around as much and CM Punk is getting old. So that's
you think he latches himself to Seth Rollins? So you're in that camp that he's going to walk away with Seth Rollins?
I'm in the camp that in order to make Paul Heyman back to form, back to Paulie dangerously, back to the wise man that we know that he can be, he needs to turn heel and go to Seth.
I genuinely couldn't disagree more. I emphatically disagree.
Okay, let's walk down the path then. That's one version, Seth Rollins, right? One timeline. Seth Rollins. What happens if Roman wins and Paul goes to him?
Then we can continue the story between Punk and Roman Reigns. That can actually continue. Okay. For Punk and Roman Reigns to truly be able to flourish beyond WrestleMania, Paul Heyman needs to be in the mix with one of those two. If he's already gallivanting away with Seth Rollins, the feud between Roman and CM Punk doesn't work. So your vision of sending him off with Seth Rollins does nothing. It does nothing. It doesn't allow Roman and Punk to actually be able to develop.
Okay, let's go to what happens if CM Punk wins and he goes to CM Punk.
Same scenario.
Okay. So in your scenario, in that scenario, I do see that. But what my scenario is, let's be Seth Rollins here, right? Why not Seth Rollins turning heel? Seth Rollins is already acting very heelish, right? That's the kind of the thing now, that Bianca Belair type acting kind of heelish. Seth Rollins, who has already been betrayed by Cody Rhodes because he teamed with Roman Reigns, right? Already been betrayed by the entire he feels like he's betrayed by the WWE because he sacrificed everything to get Cody that belt. He's already said that before to Cody's face when he was considering the decision of selling his soul to The Rock. Seth Rollins, who is this bastion of hope and this kind of like Harvey Dent type of situation where he's trying to clean up the streets of the WWE and try to protect it from the evil of Rock and the bloodline. He sacrificed so much, brother. And you're telling me that when he has his opportunity to screw over Roman, to screw over CM Punk, by joining Paul Heyman, that he doesn't take that after being screwed over so many times? I feel like it's a justified heel turn for Seth Rollins to embrace Paul Heyman.
But why for everything you just listed out, like, why does he need Paul Heyman? Okay, let's put you in the same scenario you put me in. You give Paul Heyman to Seth Rollins. What does that do? In my mind, okay, sure, it creates animosity between Seth and Punk. That animosity was already there. We don't need Heyman to elevate that animosity. it creates animosity between Roman and Seth. Same thing. We don't need Heyman to elevate the animosity between Roman and Seth. Heyman needs to be involved in a way to elevate the animosity between Roman and Punk, which is the reason why he was involved in this story, because there was no animosity between Roman and Punk. If you remove Paul Heyman from one of those two and you give him to Seth Rollins, who frankly does not need him in order to be able to turn heel and be the classic justified heel that Triple H has become so good at booking, then you remove all intrigue and interest and drama, more so the drama, away from Punk and Roman to generate drama between guys that already have drama. I believe that you would just be putting more gasoline on an already existing forest fire, when right now, Roman and Punk, we need to kindle that fire. That fire needs to continue to explode and become a massive blaze, and Heyman needs to be involved between those two. And putting him in with Seth removes him from that equation, and I think robs us from the best storytelling mechanism and device in Paul Heyman for that feud.
I think you're discounting Seth in that he could be the architect and manipulate what he wants. If he wants to take the crumble, destroy the Roman Empire, he knows the wise man's part of it. If he wants to destroy the psyche of CM Punk, he needs to steal his best friend. That is the one missing piece to this. I feel that a lot of people are discarding Seth Rollins as a major player in this triple threat. That part of them don't see him as going to win. I've said this weeks ago that Seth Rollins needs a win somewhere, brother. Needs to get it somewhere.
I think he could get it at Mania. I think he could get it at Mania because of Paul Heyman not joining him, but Paul Heyman creating confusion between Roman and Punk. Now that here's the thing. Now a lot of people are weirdly discounting Seth Rollins now that Heyman was at it. Like, now Seth Rollins feels like the third wheel. It's funny. People were saying that about Punk literally 2 weeks ago, saying that he felt like the third wheel in this feud. I say again, adding Paul Heyman connects all three of these guys. I personally see now Seth Rollins as the favorite to win this. Like, genuinely see Seth Rollins as the favorite to win this, because we've said it. We've seen numerous times Punk say this is business. It's not personal. Well, it's now personal now that Paul Heyman is there.
But he acts personal though.
Exactly.
Punk acts so personal
now
to
here,
the fans.
And now here he has no choice but to be personal because it's his best friend. He cannot say that this is business. And I feel that once he becomes personal in ring, when he takes things personal instead of just being business, I think that's what's going to open the door for Seth Rollins to win here.
So your plan, your foresight is to send CM Punk to Roman, right? That's the goal. To kindle that.
That's what that we need, that kindling. Yes.
So you don't think CM Punk's path should not be John Cena?
That doesn't need any kindling.
I know
that's a historic feud that already exists. That you can literally just turn on the switch and everyone is down for that. Granted, based on star power, everybody would have been down for CM Punk and Roman, but there was never actual proper history between those two that was developed on screen. John Cena and CM Punk might have the most history out of anybody, any pair combination not named Roman and Seth in the WWE.
Yeah, my point is, I'm just saying is that if I just feel like Paul Heyman makes things too complicated for what we're trying to get to, where we're trying to go. Like, we don't, like, you could get all this without Paul Heyman being a figure.
I disagree. Because before Paul Heyman became a figure, the conversation was Punk felt like a third wheel. That Punk just sort of felt like he was being added to the main event because he just needed to meet the main event quota, right? Because the animosity was always Roman and Seth. That's what people wanted. Adding this connects everyone together flawlessly. And I don't think that it would have connected everyone in the same way that just saying that winner gets the night 2 main event. I don't think that.
Well, that.
Yeah, the stakes would have been bigger,
SummerSlam.
but SummerSlam would have been fine. But then you're burying King of the Ring if we're doing that again, because that's what King of the Ring winner gets. I would have said Backlash, like literally, like, or Raw after Mania. How sick would that have been, right? A Raw after Mania championship match. I would have been fine with that. Like, I want to clarify, I'm not. I wasn't opposed to the idea of a number 1 contender somewhere down the line. I'm simply making the case that this favor was the most the best case scenario to make this the most WrestleMania worthy main event feel?
If Roman asks for a favor, I'm out. There's too many favors. It's too many favors, and I think in the camp that I'm in is that this match on itself as a triple threat would have been enough. Didn't need Heyman. All he had to do is add a number one contender, and I think we would have got all the magic and all the drama of Heyman being around. That would have been nice, because then you would have just had. We could have connected dots of Roman and Heyman, and Heyman's like seeing CM Punk going through it, and Heyman feeling sympathetic and like, oh my God, I need to do that. But now it's been drawn out and spelt. It's been spelt for us, and it's been like drawn out so clearly. Is like they make it too obvious sometimes. It's like it would have been magical just to have all this play out WrestleMania. In with the commentary with Paul Heyman, as great as he is in ring, to be able to see his like struggle and whatnot, and like, oh, I should go and see him Punk's corner, or I should go to Roman's, versus like now we're wondering, is he going to turn on somebody? Does that make sense? Like
it doesn't. I legitimately think we need to agree to disagree. I don't think that we're moving each other.
Saying like no. I'm not trying to move you. I'm trying to just explain. The weather forecast is there's a Heyman turn happening, whereas I wanted the weather forecast not to happen. I wanted a sudden storm, like, oh my God, Heyman's making this choice to be in CM Punk's corner, versus it's so drawn out and clear and sand. And then you add in the thing of Seth Rollins trying to manipulate and trying to get Paul Heyman to distrust Roman and CM Punk. It's adding another. It's a little bit too much seasoning, brother. You know what I mean? Less is more, and I feel like this triple threat, less could have been more.
I disagree. And we're just gonna have to agree to disagree here, sir. We'll shake hands. Just kidding. You bitch! Oh, you son of a... I knew it.
I knew it.
We did the double heel turn, the rare double heel turn.
Double spear.
Audio listeners, you missed out.
You missed out.
You missed out. All right. Okay. We talked about a storyline that you think is over-seasoned. I think that is coming in just right. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, it's like the Goldilocks problem. We have over-seasoned, not seasoned enough, and just right. Let's talk about not seasoned enough. Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. It was so unseasoned, so raw, unbasted, unseasoned chicken. And then they tried to season it with gasoline.
You know what it was? You ever seen those people who tried to do the deep frying of the turkey? Like they think it's a great idea. That is Charlotte and Tiffany trying to deep fry a turkey. Like, oh, look at this, it's working. Oh no! How do we put this out? Grease fire! No!
Yeah, delete it from YouTube. Delete it from the VODs. So we had Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. I think it's pretty much all confirmed at this point that they went severely off script. I feel like when all of these news outlets were like, the report is that they went off script. Really, brother? Do my lungs need oxygen? It was clear as day that they went off script. Charlotte had no idea what she was saying. She was rattled by the fans. She literally became a 12-year-old child mimicking Tiffany Stratton's voice. They were just, Tiffany was equally stuttering, not very good in her promo either. And then the talking point of this were some of the most personal, ruthless comments made by people talking, Tiffany mentioning, that Charlotte is, she might be 4-3 at WrestleMania, but what's your record outside of WrestleMania, huh? Yeah, what is that, like 0-3? Throws the mic, runs away. Like, you could literally see her run away. And then Charlotte, in typical 12-year-old style, you know, the classic, yeah, well, I banged your mom, basically, type of line from Charlotte at the very end saying, yeah, well, why is Ludwig in my DMs? It was all so cringe, borderline embarrassing, terrible, and Sancho, I loved it. I thought it was great. I now care about this feud. That was so bad it was good. That was a dumpster fire rolling down a hill in San Francisco levels of good, where you can't stop watching the devastation, how bad it was. The secondhand embarrassment of the fans having to listen to Charlotte talk like she just swallowed a balloon of helium, mimicking Tiffany Stratton. It was terrible. It was one of the worst segments I've ever seen, and I loved it. It worked for me. I'm so down for this match. It became Jerry Springer, brother. Jerry. No, I mean, we should have been chanting Wade, Wade, Wade. Who was monitoring that? He sucked at monitoring that, by the way. Did not do his job. It's like, ladies, I'm here to make sure that this doesn't turn into a forest fire. Brother, that turned into a nuclear bomb under your arms. You did a terrible job, and I loved it.
You wouldn't Wade be like, let's bring out Ludwig Kaiser, and then he comes out.
Ludwig, you are the father. Ludwig runs away. Cameras follow Ludwig. That's Maury. I know that's Maury, not Jerry Springer.
Listen, man, I saw it in the tea leaves. I forecasted it. I noticed that there was a lot of unprofessionalism happening, and the catalyst was that the face-to-face promo. Tiffy was sticking to the script. Charlotte went a little bit off. Tiffy got flustered. The internet, everybody was saying, yo, Tiffy, you got to do better. You can't let Charlotte run over you. You got to take it from Charlotte. Charlotte's not going to let you take it from her. Charlotte's not going to play ball. This feud is not being built professionally. There's not two professional wrestlers trying to make a program and sell a fight. Like John Cena, like Cody Rhodes, this is another Rock and Cena situation where they're out for blood, and is more evidently than ever. You kind of did a great summary of it, so I'm not going to go down that path. But you could tell that there was a moment of Tiffy coming in, guns a-blazing. I need to stand up for myself. I'm a champion. I'm 25 years old. I'm going to go after Charlotte today. I'm going to go for the jugular, right? And Charlotte, who is vulnerable, by the way, considering she did a lot of interviews and things like that, discussing her, her failures in marriage and things like that. A hot Chicago crowd booing her out of the building like a Dominic Mysterio. And you just saw the queen falter. And it was sad to see that somebody with so much experience, so much professionalism behind her could not perform at the level they pay her at. Like, imagine if Charlotte just took all that and let Tiffy be the winner of that battle. You'd be like, great. Tiffy now has a leg up in this competition. She's going to get a very mean Charlotte, right? That's all we would expect, right? Ooh, Charlotte's going to go after her for saying these heinous things, and it will still keep Charlotte being this fearsome heel, right? Like, ooh, I'm going to get you. But instead, now we just have this trash truck on fire that you so love. So, Santiago, I think the WWE needs to lean into it and make this a street fight. Give it to me. Not diva. Don't go diva-esque, right? Don't do that. No. We don't need to go that far.
No Playboy pillow fight from WrestleMania.
We don't
22.
need to do. We don't need to do that, because good Lord, the Attitude Era was filled with trash. All right, they literally had, what did they have? Lingerie matches. Good.
Broad pennies. They had mud fights. Yeah, things that did not age well in today's day and age.
So instead, let's lean into that they hate each other. Make it a cage match. Make it a bull rope match. Let's really, like, the greatness of the WWE in these past few years is they lean into momentum changes. The wave, the shift, the current goes the other way, they go that way. Same thing with Cody Rhodes last year. Let's go ahead and lean into this more. I'm not asking for more promos. I'm not asking for more personal digs that cross the line. Just let these ladies go at it. Make it no holds bar. Make it no DQ. Make it to the point where you feel that whatever was generated, that energy, because you cannot create or destroy energy, transfer it into a gimmick match that's going to give these ladies the platform and make this a match where you could be like, oh my God, someone's going to get murdered.
Mm-hmm. You know what's the most surprising thing for me coming out of all of this? The fact that face-to-face interview was live. I thought they would have like pre-recorded it.
No, they do those live.
Yeah, why? You don't need to. You don't need to do those live. They're not out there in the ring. Why not pre-recorded so that both of them can come out looking strong, so that producers can be like, hey, Charlotte, fucking stop doing what you're doing so that we can actually make our champion look like a champion. That to me was kind of like an interesting production takeaway. Like, why do those live? Obviously, it makes them more authentic, but I think you're just putting yourself at risk when you technically just don't even have to.
Well, they're trying to recapture that Matt Riddle, Seth Rollins thing. It's ever since that blew up, they're going to try to do it over and over again. This time it backfired. But the idea of that, to me, the face-to-face, if there was a card and the producers like, let's use the face-to-face remote promo. It's just because these people hate each other so much that they're unable to be in the same ring. So we need to get a promo out of them. Let's put them remote with Michael Cole interviewing them. It's kind of a bummer that this is not where we started. If we would have started with Charlotte Tiffany at this level 8, so we could build to a level that's all right. Now it's Mania at 11. It's a bummer, but here we are. We have one. Do we have one SmackDown? 2 SmackDowns, right?
Two SmackDowns. Yeah, so but the one SmackDown is like literally 12 hours before WrestleMania starts.
Right.
So like,
right,
that barely counts.
True. So what do we do? Do we back off? I don't think the WWE backs off. I think that WWE leans into it. They kind of did with Logan Kaiser going out there on Monday Night Raw on commercial, which just means they're testing the waters. You notice that? You notice when they do your stuff, they're international, they put in the commercial for the United States, and they put in there. They're kind of seeing like, what is the temperature here for Kaiser on social media? Let's put him out there wearing glasses, looking very dapper. But I'm excited. I'm not excited like you are. Yeah, brother, I want to see it.
Yeah.
I'm not like that. I'm just excited to see like how I still think it's going to be a banger of a match, and I think Charlotte will do the job if it is going to be her losing. I think Tiffany will come out stronger. I think they both learn lessons, valuable lessons as professionals for sure. But I'm interested to see what the WWE does, because old WWE, I think Vince would be on top of that in a way 100%. Where he's like, well, right? Vince would be like, okay, let's lean into that.
Ludwig would be in a shark cage, brother, if it was Vince. Here's what I'll say, right? I think if you dig deep enough, you can find handfuls of examples of Charlotte trying to railroad people on the mic, right?
Yes.
Those exist. Do you remember that?
Like a Cena. Don't.
That's
unnecessary. Admit it. You've been on this biased Cena glazing train ever since he turned heel. You're like, oh, I didn't like the line of Cody Rhodes saying about you, Vince McMahon pushed. He was pushed to the moon, brother, to the moon, destroying the entire factions. Admit it. Cena does the same thing too.
Back to Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton. With Charlotte, you can find numerous examples. Oh yeah, buddy, I'm basting. At this point, I'm past glazing. I'm basting Cena, brother. Yeah. You can find numerous examples of Charlotte Flair like railroading people and just being unprofessional on the microphone, interrupting people. That's not what Cena does. Cena's just better on the microphone than everybody else. That's not the same thing. Charlotte interrupts people. She railroads. It's different. Railroading is different than being actually better. I can go to the example of when they did the title exchange with her and Becky Lynch, where Charlotte had that like really awkward refuse to drop the title. But what I will say is that even though there are a bunch of promo examples of Charlotte railroading, there are very few examples of Charlotte railroading in the ring. There was that awkward moment, actual fight with Nia. That seemed like they both just kind of were sick of each other, to be fair. But when you look at the grander scope of Charlotte Flair matches, she delivers at the very least from an in-ring perspective. And I'm hoping that Charlotte is so egotistical about her matches that she wants to deliver the best match possible. And the only way to do that is to play ball with the person across from you. It's different when it's actual the dance of in-ring versus talking to each other. If you want to look amazing, like I hope Charlotte is so egotistical that she wants to look the best possible at WrestleMania, she has no choice but to also make Tiffany Stratton look amazing.
But see, this is where this is an episode. I guess we're in different camps. I want to see that rawness, though. I want to see that Charlotte, like I want to see.
You want to see sandbagging?
Oh, a little bit, but worked sandbagging. Hear me out. You know what I mean? Like it's like a little bit.
Yeah, no one wants to see real sandbagging.
Right. So that way we go like, ooh, wait a minute. This thing's not over. You know, this thing is this. There's a little bit of an edge to it. There's a little bit of realness.
A little bit of a cope.
A little bit of a cope to it.
I think this day.
I see clearly. If Vince was around, Vince would have Logan Kaiser make out with Charlotte in front of Tiffany. Like that's the kind of BS that we would get.
Yeah, I'm probably.
I want to be clear. I'm glad Vince is not around. I'm saying that Vince would make this. He sees an opportunity to ignite this to a whole new level. And I'm hoping Triple H, Charlotte, and Tiffy are not afraid to toe that line. Because you have something here. You mentioned nothing. Now there's a little bit of something. How brave you are to jump into that water that is kind of uncharted a little bit, and it takes a professionalism to kind of lean into that a little bit. Like imagine if they lock up and Tiffy's trying to, you know what I mean, just like do something, and then Charlotte just refuses. What if Charlotte is lining up for the prettiest moonsault, and Charlotte kind of Samoa Joe's it a little, right? The stuff like that just adds a little bit of ooh, I hate you, Charlotte, in a different kind of way.
You know what would
wait.
This...
Oh, hell, the queen.
I hate that. I hate that so much. God, that derailed my train of thought. So let me find a different train of thought. You know what would make this match better?
Oh, hell, the queen.
We have the match is about to start, and then we have an army go to the ring, and out from the army comes out Kyrie Bane. One of you has the detonator, but none of you know who.
By the way, my All Hail the Queen is so much more tolerable than your dumb idea. Your idea is so stupid. I thought you were gonna say a bunch of security guards. That'd be sick.
No,
and there was like
it's an army, and they've got Kyrie Bane. Yes, brother. They're expecting one of us in the elbow.
Is that Kyrie Sane? That's Kyrie Bane, Michael. That'd be Pat McAfee. That would be Pat McAfee.
And then if we had Jerry the King Lawler on commentary, he'd be like, what a WrestleMania moment.
We both have our hate for Jerry. Jerry Lawler is the worst in Women's Royal Rumble. You think that's bad? He is the worst. He said some line like, oh, I would love to be in this Royal Rumble. Imagine all these women fighting over you. And you just be like,
what? Brother, it's not 1997 anymore. You can't. Oh my goodness. All right, let's move on. This is a major plot shifter in the worst kind of way. We have Kevin Owens's injury that I think by all accounts is a real injury. I'm choosing 100% to lean in on the fact that this is a real injury. If I get worked, I got worked. But I just don't want to be the guy that's like, this is a work, only for him to actually be injured, right? So I'm going to lean on the fact that this is a real injury that removes Kevin Owens from WrestleMania and thus on paper, removes Randy Orton from WrestleMania as well. If it is a real injury, Kevin Owens, I hope everything goes well. Surgery goes good. I sincerely hope that you're able to come back to professional wrestling. We saw Randy, deal with some similar stuff. It took him about 2 years to come back. So I would project that that's probably a similar timeline for Kevin Owens. But it's just such a shame because Kevin Owens was on the roll of his career, in my opinion, like the best role that he had been on the main roster. NXT. This heel Kevin Owens was so unbelievably good and memorable, and you could pluck him in and put him into any storyline and feud, and this character would work.
Yeah, man. But it's the nature of the beast of wrestling, dude. And my thing I want to point out is that it's interesting that the WWE did it this way. Typically, a heel, when injured, wouldn't have an opportunity to say goodbye. He came out, said goodbye, said he doesn't know when he's going to come back, and people, and you kind of see why the WWE doesn't do it, because people don't, there's none of that reverence genuine, because they think they're getting worked, right? So they're like, oh, I don't know if this is real or not, in the sense of his injury. But I appreciated what Triple H is able to put that down, put that pitchfork down, and allow the heel to say goodbye if necessary in this situation. And Kevin Owens is someone that just recently re-signed a contract, definitely had big plans going forward, and was a great scary heel, like you mentioned, because there's a lack of scary heels that can be somebody that could amplify a story, like you mentioned. But what does this happen for Randy? I have ideas. Would you like to hear my ideas?
I think we both have ideas. Sure. Yeah, let's throw out ideas for Randy Orton.
Randy Orton, what were they building up to? Right? A punt kick, right? Mm-hmm. The idea that Randy Orton has all this anger and animosity, and he's hearing the voices in his head again. He has a lot of venom inside of him, and he needs to release it. So you have Randy Orton sitting in the locker room, still bummed about Kevin Owens. And then guess who walks up behind him? It is Karrion Kross, wearing a beanie to kind of mirror his baldness. Right? He wears a beanie. You notice that Karrion Kross changes his hair, whoever he's talking to?
Yep.
Yep. So he's wearing a beanie, he's talking to Randy, and he goes like, hey, Randy, it must be very frustrating to have all that venom in you and you have no one to bite. And then, Randy gets all mad. He's like, you know what, Karrion? I'm sick of you. Let's have a match at Mania.
Sick
That's
of you
simple,
after
right?
2 words.
Oh, because Karrion is mean. He's been doing this to everybody. He's like, I'm sick of you manipulating people. Let's have a match. So the whole entire idea is, one, they're gonna have a great match. Karrion and Randy would have a great match. Karrion Kross, his whole goal is not to win. He's not gonna win this match. His whole goal is to get punk kicked. So that way he shows the world that Randy is an actual evil guy and a heel. And that in this world business, that there is no baby faces. So it's continuing that vibe that Karrion Kross could manipulate people into converting, turning heel. And if you looked at his socials, Karrion Kross believes Legends didn't help him out when he made it to the main roster, that he kind of was thrown out there and he drowned because no one helped him. Amplifies that story that he got killed by the Legend Killer. Give me Karrion Kross. Give me Karrion Kross, brother.
Sancho, I like that. I think you laid it out really, really well. I think the backbone of what you're saying, I think, is really, really good. I think the only problem is the lack of time that we have for it to really develop. I wish they could have more time, but I really like what you've come up with. I would dare say I kind of like the idea of that feud in general, even if it doesn't happen at WrestleMania.
Backlash. Be great backlash.
Yeah. No, I think the way that you laid it out is really, really well, because it could work at WrestleMania. Randy, you didn't get to punt anybody. You didn't get to really unleash the anger and venom that you wanted to on Kevin Owens. I like it for post WrestleMania. I do. I like it for post WrestleMania so that they can have a little bit more time and give Karrion Kross runway to make this work. Could it work in 2 episodes of SmackDown and maybe 1 episode of Raw? Sure. I think we're dealing with professionals that could make it work. It's just I really like what you laid out, and I would rather see it a little bit more fleshed out than just a 2-week program at WrestleMania. What about a one-off come out of retirement Nick Aldis match? We saw the RKO to Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis has been on record saying that if he is going to come out of retirement, that Randy Orton would be the go-to match. Due to unfortunate circumstances, it's there. The RKO just happened. What's also fascinating about this and why I like this is I think all of us, and you kind of alluded to it in the Karrion Kross suggestion, believe Randy just needs to win at WrestleMania, right? He just needs to win, right? He can't lose to whoever it is that's coming back or going after him. I think that Nick Aldis can have a great showing, lose, and everyone is perfect for it, right? He's still a manager, right? He doesn't need to win. He doesn't need the win. But the showcase of like, oh my God, we didn't know that, or maybe fans that don't know, he used to be Magnus, or of course, Nick Aldis in the Independence NWA champion. That could just be a really cool, like, eye-opening moment for fans that have never seen a Nick Aldis participate in the ring before. Randy would logically win, and I think everything would just be fine. Like, this wouldn't be salting anybody's earth.
Is it Nick Aldis younger than LA Knight?
I can double check that for you. I always think LA Knight is older than he actually is, but Nick Aldis and LA Knight were kind of like in the same world around the same time. Nick Aldis. Oh my God, yeah, bro. Nick Aldis is the same age as like Roman, Seth, and Sami Zayn. He's 38. He's like,
isn't that crazy?
He's significantly younger than Randy, actually.
Yeah, so he has a lot of. He could go, and he's still in shape. And he said in the Chris Van Vliet podcast that he's ready at any time, anywhere. He could. He's numbers called. He's going to get called up, and I kind of think like that is an option. I mean, but last time he did get RKO'd and he just fined Randy. He'd find him $50K and then Randy cut him a check for $100K. He's like, for next time. There we go. But yeah, that's definitely an opportunity to do that. I think you can't have a Bobby Lashley situation here where he just comes out with a trophy. I was there. I was there for that. We all cheered for Bobby, and we all, hi, everyone, thank you, Randy Orton, everybody. Or like, I think the most egregious is The Rock and Eric Rowan, right? That was most egregious. You can't do that where Randy just RKOs and says, thank you, everybody, and leaves. I think there is, like you mentioned, room for somebody in these couple of weeks. Nick Aldis, they could easily hot start that Nick Aldis one easier than Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross would rely on everybody understanding that this is what Karrion Kross does to people, that he always is that talking devil on people's shoulders. The other option is you could put in a Rey Fenix. You talked about it before we did the pod. You said Rey Fenix would have been an interesting choice. The thing about Rey, and what's interesting is when we talk more about his debut, but did you notice that the Rey Fenix, the Rey font was so small?
I didn't
and the
see
Phoenix was so massive.
They're trying to hide it.
They're trying to make him Phoenix. So that'd be interesting. It would have to be it'd have to be a Gunther and Axiom type of match that they recently had.
Yeah. The way that I have it in my head is if you don't want to put the legwork to start a story, a narrative-driven affair for Randy Orton at WrestleMania, you could just give Randy Orton the best available dude to give Randy the most entertaining match possible. And that could be an open challenge. Cool. Randy and Rey Fenix, little bit of a dream match. Rey Fenix gets to lose because you're not going to beat Randy, right? But Rey Fenix can look amazing in the process. Randy Orton could look amazing in the process. And you could end it with, I bet they could come up with the most creative, best RKO finish ever. And again, if you don't want to put in the legwork for a story-driven match this close to WrestleMania, I actually think that's the best available option. Just a really, really cool exhibition match. That's it.
You want Rey Fenix to be like, come on, hit me with it. Give it to me. That's what he's going to say, dude. That's what he's going to stare down the barrel. Because that's what they always, that's the Lucha Brothers, dude. They always look at death right in the face, and they're like,
"Give me what? Can I tell you my like dream RKO? For Rey Fenix? I actually already thought about it.
Did you go, babe? I have a dream RKO.
All right, and I don't know if it's like if the physics of it even makes sense. You know how Rey Fenix does that, like running on the ropes and then
amigo kick.
Yeah, the amigo kick. I want like towards the end of the match, Rey Fenix goes for that. Randy Orton trips him up. And you know how like luchadors have like that ability to like hit their legs off the ropes and kind of do like a backflip back into the ring? I want Randy to sweep the leg, Ray's legs hit the rope, he backflips into the ring, Randy catches him into the RKO. Can you picture? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was picturing that. He runs the ropes, Randy trips him like that, the middle of the rope and the spine hits him in the back, and he's able to like don't go forward and then flips forward, and then Randy runs up and hits him like almost like a anti coast to coast. You know what's the worst counter moves? The coast to coast and spear. When Shane McMahon got destroyed by Roman, that was the worst catastrophic car crash I've ever seen in the wrestling ring, because Shane's head just bounced off the back of the mat.
Nasty. There's no protecting yourself from that.
There's nothing. And there's no way Roman could make sure you don't hit hard, safely. So yeah, maybe Javon Evans. Maybe they give him the Mania spot and let him come back, and they could do it again and try to.
No, he's got to stand and deliver match. Confirmed. So I don't think that would be the case. But, you mentioned Javon Evans. That's what I'm looking for out of Rey Fenix. Like that one-off exhibition. They missed the what would have been the most insane RKO that I've ever seen. They missed it, and Randy's like, who cares? It's not a big deal. It's NXT. But you can't miss it at Mania, brother. You can't miss it at Mania.
It's interesting if the WWE knew, like, if they knew ahead of time that Kevin Owens wasn't going to make Mania, how cool would it have been to save Rey Fenix for Mania to be Randy's opponent?
Sure.
Like, we don't know anything about him.
I think if that's the case, I think it was smart to bring him before that so that Rey Fenix could get his win and then lose, as opposed to debut lose. You know what I mean? But a debut loss to Randy's doesn't hurt anybody. No. The stock that you gain from debuting against Randy, that's significantly better than debuting and losing. You know what I mean?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's
I still like Karrion Kross though.
I know you know what, the way you laid it out, I was like, wow, that's actually like a pretty like really solid narrative. I
And
really like
Karrion
that.
Kross is coming out to his old Fall and Pray song, brother, in his old entrance.
Ed, pray. Oh, so good.
Or they could do it the old school way where Randy's talking and then Karrion Kross comes out with a little stand. But he's done that multiple times before, and it's just like,
and I don't think he carries that hourglass anymore. I think they retired it.
TikTok ready. You do it here.
Listen, if you think that you're good at predicting wrestling and wrestling match outcomes, then you should definitely be going to MyBookie, because you can actually bet on WrestleMania results over there. And MyBookie actually lets you make the ability to make your pick before the actual matches take place, or sometimes during the actual matches as well. It's not just for sports betting as well. It's a full-fledged casino with all kinds of casino games. If you'd like to go check that out, you can on MyBookie. Now, if you are new to MyBookie, make sure that you sign up with my code Santi. You already know, so that you can get a deposit boost of up to $2,000. So don't settle for a second-rate book. Bet smarter, win bigger, only at MyBookie. Let's get you back into the video. Man, so we are recording this basically on the anniversary of Cody Rhodes winning the WWE Undisputed Championship in one of the most memorable main events in the history
of Undertaker's dong.
Undertaker's dong hits, and man, it was just swinging about, man. A year of Cody Rhodes as champion. I kind of want to get your initial gut reactions of what you felt about Cody Rhodes' 1 year as champion.
I feel it's a tale of two halves, brother. The first half, it was wait for Rock. Now we're finally getting into Cody hitting his stride, and I think it's been fun. I think Cody's been a great champion in terms of being the top babyface of the company. You know, shaking hands, kissing babies. The merch has been outstanding. Seeing all the little Kodiaks, out there hanging out with, and the way he treats the fans is really awesome. I think his in-ring is great in the terms of the matches. Quality is always there. I think where the WWE falls short in Cody Rhodes is they lean on him too much sometimes. And when they send him out there countlessly for a promo by himself, he could sometimes put himself in a weird situation, but he steps up to the plate when the opponent's there, ready to roll, right? When he had like the kind of like the low points of his reign was Logan Paul in my mind, because it was like, I guess there's something there, but there wasn't really there. They try to, I'm trying to remember the contract signing. I remember there's some moments that Cody had some one-liners. And I think the high points of this entire thing was Kevin Owens. And I think the reason why is because Kevin Owens is Cody's story. Like, that is part of his story of dealing with a former friend just not understanding the choices that he make, that he's doing the right thing. And the hardest, and again, the worst parts of Cody's story is getting away from the nebulous or the gravity pull of the bloodline. Like the whole war games and all that kind of stuff, and Cody reassembling the team. I guess, you know, it's.
Wait, Cody wasn't in War Games, just to clarify.
I'm sorry, like the idea of
bad blood.
Bad blood. That's what I meant. Of Cody trying to reassemble a team with Romans. I feel like that kind of stuff didn't work for me.
Yeah,
you know,
I'll tell you, like, Cody's reign should have been better. And if we got all of the exact same stuff that we got, but you just remove one thing, the Rock's interaction the night after WrestleMania, you remove that, everything is so much better. Everything is so much better. Maybe the Bloodline Vortex stuff, you can't really change that. But then the feud with Logan and AJ Styles would have felt more special. Same with the feud with Kevin Owens. It would have felt like the title was in more danger than it ultimately was, because me and you and many other people were just like, can't lose it until there's that interaction with The Rock, until The Rock comes after the title or whatever. That, to me, is what initially set a poor pace to Cody Rhodes' championship reign, because rather than being able to just simply enjoy the feud against AJ Styles, many of us were just like, well, this is just a filler feud until The Rock. And same with Kevin Owens. This is just a filler feud until The Rock. And I wish that wasn't the case. I certainly wish that he never got involved with the Bloodline. That entire summer of wasting it with the Bloodline, that sucked ass. Like Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, all, and then Bad Blood, all with the Bloodline. And you know what the problem was is that like even right after the Bloodline stuff, we didn't even get to continue like the traditional path of a WWE champion, because we then had to endure the Crown Jewel Championship feud with Gunther that really didn't develop anything, right? So that like stretch put the Kevin Owens feud in the back burner and many things in the back burner. I still think I'm really happy to have him as champion, though, just to have a champion that's there every single week, every single PLE, Saturday night's main event. I like having the champion being there as opposed to being something or somebody that isn't there for 4 or 5 months at a time. So I still think it's a successful reign. Just wish the bit with The Rock didn't happen, because I do think that had you not changed anything, it would have just been fundamentally better.
So let's just go through it real quick, right? Cody's matches for a second.
You got him?
Yeah, I got him right here. You got Cody and AJ Styles at Backlash.
Yep.
Right? That was one of those ones where I enjoyed the build of it being, that was a fun match because it was more like the Georgia wrestling, right? More Mid-South type of vibe. And it was one, I arguably said one of the best matches of that year because it was just fun. And, you had the Phenomenal and all that kind of stuff that was going down. So then you leave that and you have the King and Queen in the ring against Logan Paul. Logan Paul, it was a strange thing to have Logan, and that was one of those ones like, hey, the people of the over there in the Middle East, they love Logan Paul. So you kind of see that, but didn't really do anything for Cody Rhodes. And then you had AJ again with the I Quit match at Clash. If we didn't have that stop with Logan, I would have wished we got a trilogy with AJ stop.
The trilogy with AJ would have been better.
The trilogy with AJ would have been so nice. And then we kind of take a detour, and I would have to say that the matches with Solo Sikoa were nice. Like Cody
I didn't like the
Solo.
SummerSlam one. I like the cage match.
I like
SummerSlam.
That's what I mean. I like the television Cody matches.
Yes.
with
Solo
sure.
Sikoa.
And then we got the Universal title of Cody Rhodes, like you mentioned, in Cleveland, Ohio, against Solo Sikoa. And then after that, we got the Kevin Owens one in Berlin, Bash at Berlin. Mm-hmm. And that one, I'm trying to that one was like, hey, you're my friend. I want to give you a match.
Yeah. Like Kevin Owens, like, why? I'm a loser. Even Kevin Owens, like, why?
And then that's when we got into the Bloodline vortex. Of now we're going back into it, and this is where we had Cody Rhodes and Roman team up. Now, a team up has always been classic, two top single stars like The Rock and Stone Cold teaming up together to fight Jacob fought like another heel team. But I don't know. This one, the reason why it worked, hindsight, is because it gave Kevin Owens ammunition. It gave Seth Rollins ammunition, right? And that is going to be paid off later, and it's being paid off now. It paid off with Kevin Owens a little bit when his heel turn, but now this is what I'm saying. Like, I see where Seth Rollins could be his breaking that broke him, and be like, what the hell? You went to war with this guy at WrestleMania 40, and now you're teaming with him. So that's where I like that match, and I think from this moment on, it's like, okay, as soon as he leaves the Bloodline vortex, I absolutely like that. But you're right. The Gunther part was a weird sidestep. Mm-hmm. It's like we were playing a video game and we did a side quest.
And
here we go.
And then it didn't help that it was that, and then we didn't get him at Survivor Series.
That's what I mean, led to my confusion. I mean, the last time we saw him in Survivor Series, he was on the poster. Remember? He had the war paint and he was sitting in the water like this. And it was his dad's event. It was the first time competing in his dad's gimmick match. Yeah. So without him at Survivor Series, it's the same thing that hurt LA Knight, brother. When LA Knight was rising, he wasn't in that War Games with Cody. How dare you, Cody Rhodes, not pick LA Knight? I didn't have my glasses on. I do apologize. I did like the matches with Carmelo Hayes. That was fun.
Those were fun.
Those were fun matches.
Yeah.
Those were fun matches. And then the ladder match with Kevin Owens, which
best match of the year, I think, so far. I think it's the best match of the year.
Now we know Kevin Owens was kind of hurt. Yeah. He took that crazy spot
Oh man, now that Alabama slam hurts more. It already was nutty.
Right?
Now it hurts more.
It hurts more, and I think that's where for me that build was great because that's when he did enough, and that's when he was like, dude, you always look for reasons to doubt yourself, and you're the one you're your biggest enemy, Kevin Owens. Like, I did like that program, and I did like the times where Cody they would fight on site. And I know there was a lot of brawls throughout the entire thing, but it felt justified with Cody and Kevin Owens. And this is when Kevin Owens started to come into his own because, I mean, between all that, he did get, didn't Cody get pile driving at that point too?
Yep.
Yep.
That was after Saturday night's main event.
Yep. Saturday night's main event. And then we go into, we forgot about we took a stop. Not during this year, but the good old, we got reminiscent of Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso defeating Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga in the FedEx Forum on Memphis on a Monday night, SmackDown. Let's see. And then we get the steel cage match of Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa. And that's a road to WrestleMania. Oh, they're still having dark matches against Solo Sikoa.
Against Solo? Oh, God. Oh, dude, imagine paying for a house show and then getting Cody and Solo again. Oh,
dude, this one's sick. This is a great dark match. CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and Rey Mysterio versus the Judgment Day. That's kind of
cool.
sick.
That's cool. Yeah, that's a cool team up. That's a crazy team up, actually.
Yeah. And then you had a CM Punk and Cody Rhodes versus Gunther and Solo Sikoa in a dark match in UK England. Right? The UK gets the best dark matches. I swear to God, dude. They get the best. I would. All right, so
let's wrap this up. Give it a grade. Give it a grade on Cody Rhodes' year as a champion. I might be being generous. I'm just gonna give it an A, and I think it might be off the back of getting an absentee champion before it, and then having opposite of Cody a very wishy-washy championship reign for Gunther in the World Heavyweight Championship that I think makes Cody's reign look even better. So I'm just gonna straight up say it's an A. It's been very, very good.
I'll give it an A as well. I was leaning towards A. I would have at the beginning of the year. I would have gave it a B minus.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I would give it a B minus because of the Rock's looming presence, but at the Netflix day one, I took that down to C plus because it made Cody look so stupid. And then the deal with Cody, what made Cody's year was not selling his soul to The Rock. Like that was the icing on the cake. That was the cherry on top. That solidified that this dude it means business, and that if you want him to not be the champion or not represent the face of the company, you're gonna have to rip it from his cold dead hands. And that's what I enjoyed the most from Cody Rhodes is when he stands up to kind of like when he's like the underdog and he has everything to lose at the same time. Because most underdogs, they have nothing to lose. Cody Rhodes is the underdog in a situation with everything to lose.
Right.
Does that make sense? I know it's a strange concept, but Cody has given the keys to WWE, and he has gotten to the point. He's a magnetic person to where The Rock wants to destroy him, where the Roman wanted to destroy him, and having that aspect still linger works really well. I'm curious to see if the WWE goes, let's do year 2 of Cody. I'm not quite sure if that a year that we're giving him warrants a year 2.
I hope not because I don't like Cody, but because I would like to see the championship bounce around. I don't want it to become the norm that we have to keep the WWE championship on somebody for a year
bounce
plus.
Around to who?
You already know who, man. John Cena needs to win the WWE Championship. You know he does.
Well, why at Mania? Why at Mania?
Because it's his last Mania, man. It's his last Mania.
Oh, last Mania. Are you going to go?
No.
Why not? It's his last Mania.
I went to his last Elimination Chamber. Last time in Canada. That's good enough for me. You go. You go pay $30,000 to go have an intimate lunch with John Cena and to have a nosebleed ticket.
You know what's the best part of Vegas? When you find cheap food. Dog, I worked a show, the Streamer Bowl, with NFL stars and Twitch stars. I'm hungry. It's like 8-hour show. I'm starving. I've been talking nonstop. Been yapping. And guess what I find, dude? Right in the same casino, I find a Raising Cane's, brother. Ooh, spending $15 for a delicious, succulent 3-course meal, brother.
I mean,
Delicious.
and finding those in Vegas, that's a win because Vegas is very expensive in general. I think like people don't realize just how expensive Mania weekend is for those that are going. It is not just the ticket. The ticket's already egregiously expensive. It is accommodation, which is very expensive. You could go off strip, sure, but then you're spending money on Ubers, which are going to be surcharged for WrestleMania and everything that's going on in Vegas. And then, of course, your food, transportation, all of that stuff is going to be very expensive. It's going to be like, if you want to go to Mania and have a decent weekend, you're basically buying a down payment on a car.
It blows my mind that the Fountain Blue, which is casino, that all the Undertaker, the Hall of Fame, all those extra stuff is going to be at one end of the strip, and on the other strip is the Allegiant Stadium.
Crazy.
Complete opposite. Literally at the end, dude. I'm telling you, if you're going to WrestleMania and you're a fan of the wrestling, is cool. Don't walk to the casinos. If you go, oh, it's right there, I could see it. It's not right there. It is freaking miles away still. Don't walk. Save money for your budget on Ubers. Just do it, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Do it. You're gonna get fried out there.
Yeah, you're all pasty. You don't see the sun. You don't touch grass normally. Protect yourselves when you go there, because Las Vegas, you think it's hot. It's hotter than what you're thinking.
It's like an oven hot. It's dry heat. Drink water. Wear sunscreen no matter where you are. Oh, I'm being indoors. Nah, put that stuff on. And Uber. Mm-hmm. And bring a different pair of shoes.
Agreed. When your feet various hurt. Socks.
Yes, because when you go, like, to get to the stadium, it's actually across the freeway. It is not on the strip. It's across the freeway. And a lot of people like to walk to it to save, but it's a long bridge, brother. Vegas is not easy, man. And it's a place designed to take your money.
Oh my God, is it? Yeah.
It is the design. There's no windows, no clock, and people give you beverages and booze. Brother, it is a dangerous place, but hey, man, have fun.
Have fun, everybody. And that's crazy that you mentioned that the Hall of Fame is happening on the other side of the strip, because the Allegiant Stadium is a couple of blocks away from where SmackDown is going to be. I can't remember the name of where, like the
T-Mobile Arena.
T-Mobile Arena, where the Golden Knights play hockey.
Yeah.
If
New York.
Yeah, so if those people want to go to the Hall of Fame, which naturally they are the ones that would go to the Hall of Fame, the ones that just went to SmackDown, they have an hour to get to the other side of the strip, to get seated, situated. Why not just do it in the same stadium that you did SmackDown, like you've been doing for the last several years? I don't get that. Money, cashola. You think the hotel gave them a boatload of cash to do it there, or do you think WWE just wanted to pay less to do it at a smaller venue?
Or maybe they wanted to be closer to the Sphere. I mean, the Sphere's and then the Fountain Blue.
Man, I think that weekend, I'm sure for those watching at home, it's going to be very successful. I think if you're there, it's going to be a mess. I think you're going to walk out of this experience being like, never again in Vegas. Because anytime that I've had to go for an event at Vegas, TwitchCon, you know how I walked out? Never do TwitchCon again ever in Vegas. Please never do it again in Vegas. So many people complained about it being in Vegas because of how annoying everything was in Vegas, that they moved it away from Vegas, even though it was supposed to be there for like 3 years straight.
It was so much better in San Diego.
Yeah.
So much better. Just to be able to get around, to go to bar hopping, to go to restaurants, to meet up with people. It was a nightmare in Vegas. It's like, I saw you once, and it was by happenstance, because you were walking out of a diner, and I was walking to the arena for work. But it was just like, oh,
yeah.
And then we gotta go do our own thing.
Yeah, in San Diego, it could just be like, hey, let's go to Gaslamp, meet at this bar, and you can literally walk it, Uber. Super quick, super cheap. Las Vegas sucks. I hate that city. I cannot stand Las Vegas unless you live in it. I love the people of Vegas. Love the people of Vegas. The people are great. The city,
Let's be
not
clear.
So much. Man, can you imagine? Can you believe that those penguins are getting taxed? Getting tariffed? Did you see that? Those penguins in that island having to pay that 10% tariff, brother. Those penguins, flightless birds, they can't even fly.
It's so funny.
Let's move on here. Speaking of something that is not flightless, let's talk about Logan Paul and AJ Styles. That match is going to have a lot of flying. You like that? Good transition.
Hey, Logan. Ever in Japan?
Brother, this feud's not working for me. I know.
What?
No. Listen. It goes back to what we were saying
What?
it goes back to what we were saying at the beginning.
What?
Yeet.
What?
Yeet.
What?
Okay, we're losing viewers because of this.
Not the WWE though.
That's true.
You killed my brother. Yeet.
We'll talk about that. This feud goes back to what we were talking at the beginning of the show, where it's like, man, the story just sort of feels kind of shoehorned, but we know the match is going to be great. I feel like that's where we're at with Logan and AJ Styles. Like this is just going to be a cool match, but there is just nothing of substance between these two. There's like almost no chemistry either in terms of like their storytelling.
It's okay. It's okay to have these kinds of, let's put a banger match together. I mean, if they could figure it out, AEW is very successful doing it. It's okay, Santi. You don't need your little itty bitty story. Okay.
Is AEW successful with it? That's like one of the biggest complaints people have about AEW.
The PLEs are amazing. This is what we're building to, right?
I didn't think Dynasty was that good. It felt like a lot of soulless matches that were good, but it felt very soulless.
So AJ and Logan has a soul?
This feels like one of those soulless matches.
It's like NWO's sold out.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, man. You're on a roll with these terrible puns.
What? Come on. Look. What? I think AJ and Logan is the reason why it's like this, because this is Logan's MO, man. This is how feuds are built with Logan Paul. Logan Paul says he's a full-timer, and he does show up and cut a promo. He had one of the Andrew Schultz, and I mean, AJ went for the save. It's there, but it's not no LA Knight and Logan Paul.
I was going to say, like AJ,
right?
Logan Paul and LA Knight were able to build a far more interesting tale going into SummerSlam with Logan Paul being a proper part-timer. And this doesn't have any of that. Like, there's no, hey Logan, I'm in your pool, Logan.
Hey, you want to play some video games, Logan? I'm good at video games. I'm the best at it. I'm AJ Styles. No,
you can't just add I'm AJ Styles like you do I'm Braun Strowman.
I'm the face that built the place. He's very biting with his words when he gets very excited.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Very much. I think that could it be perhaps, me lord, that the rest of the card needed to be built out story wise, and they just like, hey, we don't have time for these guys, and we have to rely on these weird backstage segments where someone interrupts and why did Karrion Kross interrupt AJ? Like, why do that? And then they gonna have a match 2 weeks before Mania. Why?
That's a good question.
Or I mean, 1 week. The go home. The go home is Karrion versus AJ.
Yeah, it's weird.
So Logan could come on and interfere.
This. Maybe. Who knows? Like we said, it's gonna be just a good match for the sake of having a good match.
Mark this down. You're going to be like, oh, man, one of my favorite matches. This is your voice. One of my favorite matches is going to be AJ and Logan. It was so good. Stole the night one, brother.
Maybe. Yeah. Like, you act as if I'm afraid to enjoy something that I criticize. I'm not. If I criticize it and it ends up being good, I am happy to swallow my words. Unlike you, who just sticks his feet in the ground and refuses to acknowledge whenever he's wrong. I am, in these scenarios, happy to be wrong. If this ends up being a banger of a match and it ends up being my favorite match of the night, I don't mind changing my mind.
You want me to prove that you're wrong? Did you have a problem, sir? Did you have a query, sir, with the good paying people of the American audience of Minneapolis saying, yeet, when Jey Uso was burying his soul? When he goes, I called my mom. Yeet. And you know what I told her, Gunther? Yeet. Did you have a problem with the American audience, Us, paying their hard-earned dollars to chant whatever they want?
You think you've cornered me into a corner. I've already talked about this. I continue to believe that crowd was in their ability and in their right to chant whatever they want. But now we, as those watching at home, are also in the right to clown them for being fucking idiots. Good God. You were clowning on the European crowd. This was infinitely worse. Infinitely worse. They borderline killed whatever Jey Uso was trying to do with that promo, to the point that Jey Uso, who admittedly played them, right? Like, stop it. You know, we talk about like wrestlers not being able to properly play the crowd. To Jay's credit, he was able to play the crowd enough to deafen the majority of those yeets. But yes, it was hilariously bad and made that crowd look so dumb, unintelligent, yelling yeet every time Jey Uso is trying to cut one of the most serious and emotional promos and most important promos of his career. This close they were to ruining that promo. Jey Uso was almost a victim of his own catchphrase and a victim of his own popularity. It's just, exactly. It's fundamentally insane to me that this crowd was not able to read the room. This guy doesn't come out yeeting.
I'm sorry. We had our libations and we're a monopolist American crowd, brother. You're lucky, brother, that we're participating amongst your wrestling show. I'm just saying,
they're allowed to, and I believe you paid your ticket. You can do whatever you want, but it doesn't stop those watching at home from being like, you guys are fucking idiots. That's how I see it. Cool. Glad you paid your money to look like a dumbass. It's your right to look like a dumbass, and you almost killed Jey Uso's promo. I still think it hit, by the way. That's exactly what we wanted out of that promo. We asked exactly for that. Talk about family, be serious, no yeeting, take off the glasses. He hit it all. And then in the crowd almost single-handedly ruined it.
Is it the crowd's fault, though? If the WWE was conditioning us, I'm doing quote marks here, us, to yeet with Jey Uso, because it's been built up that way. It's like built in, dude. It's like if I see somebody, like if Hulk Hogan went out there and you know, we were wanting the Hulk to Hulk up and he didn't do it because he was serious, they're conditioned, dude. They're conditioned to do that. It's like if Stone Cold came out and was delivering one of his iconic promos and he wanted to be serious and people were going, what? Is it their fault? The WWE wanted it. Jey Uso wanted. I'm just asking questions.
Listen, if my mom brings me out pizza pockets, I'd be like, ooh, pizza pockets. Yeah, yeet. Thank you, Mom. Yeet for the pizza pockets. I've now become conditioned when I see pizza pockets to celebrate. If somebody brings out pizza pockets as an appetizer, as hand food at a funeral, I know to read the room and maybe go a little bit like, but I wouldn't be, woo, pizza pockets, let's go. You know, I know how to read the room, even if I'm conditioned to react a certain way to certain stimuli.
My mom, she brought me pizza pockets.
Yeet. Yeah, look, I'll continue to stand on this hill that the crowds, they pay, they can chant whatever they want. It doesn't change the fact that you could chant whatever you want and still look like a freaking moron. I think that is so, like, the crowd chanting, the singing from the European crowds didn't ruin the message and the vibe of that, what that wrestler was trying to interpret. That I think you can agree.
Sounds like to me you don't like Minneapolis. You hear that? You don't like the purple squad out there. What do they call them? What are the
you know Vikings what? Yeah, St. Paul's a better city. Let's go St. Paul.
Whoa.
Let's go St. Paul. All right. Whoa. I know it's the Twin Cities, but one twin's always prettier than the other. I'm going with St. Paul, baby. That's the real crown jewel of Minnesota. You hated an entire continent. I did not. You hated all the Europeans. You went to war with Europe.
I said London.
You said no.
SmackDown.
You said European crowds, brother. You said that. Go back and watch it. European crowds, brother.
You said. Oh, so Sancho, you have beef with Europe.
and you bit. He bit. What can I say? Sancho, because of this, 10% tariffs between me and you now. You get 10. You're getting tariffed right now.
God, lead back to Jey Uso. Yes, he delivered. I think it's strange to have Gunther to be so quiet throughout the whole time, and to be Gunther felt like he was trying to be a mirror to Jey Uso, to let Jey Uso be vulnerable. If I was directing Jey Uso, I would say if you would have just stood still the entire time, you would have had so much power in that moment. But the moment that you start going back and forth, you lost your strength and your intensity in that you need to deliver this message. And what was that message, Santi? He looked Gunther dead in the eye and said, "I'm praying for you, Gunther, for the man that I'm about to become." Right? He said, "I'm going to pray for you because I'm going to be something that you've never seen before." I wonder if this promo could have been delivered backstage, so that way we would have all that intimacy and that strength in that intensity up close and personal, because that's where Jey Uso does thrive backstage. Like his promos backstage, him walking through the crowd, he can do it so well. I often think of like what other wrestler could be in the crowd and get them hyped and look so cool doing it. You can't just throw any wrestler and get that entrance like Jey Uso to reach that magnitude of pop, right? Not everybody could be that charismatic with the crowd. So maybe they would have moved the venue of where it was to eliminate the crowd being involved. Like I mentioned, Randy and Cody would have been good because you would have had people eating when it's on the screen. But I think that WWE wanted him to say, "I'm not afraid of you, Gunther," right in his face. "I'm not scared of you anymore," because that is what Jay needs to start believing in himself. I thought it was great. The people are going to do what they're going to do. You got to see through that. And I commend Jey Uso to trying to control it and go through it. But that crowd was ruckus, dude. There were some people saying some crazy stuff during, what was it? Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. They were saying like, "Hurry up!"
Yeah, bro, that mic was catching a lot of stray voices in the middle of segments and matches.
It was wild, dude. I think that WWE needs to reconsider having a segment like Seth Rollins and them closing out a show when there's really not much. I mean, I know a brawl ensued afterwards, but the Braun Breaker moment should have closed that show. Like the idea of the Fatal 4-Way, the IC title, they easily could have closed that show out because that was like that popped like crazy.
Yeah. It would have been cool seeing the IC Championship main event, like 3 straight Raws at that point? Like that program. You know what, though? Like, speaking about that Raw, I like the pace change. I like that they left the main event thing to the very end, as opposed to starting off with like a 30-minute main event segment like they have with like John Cena and Cody Rhodes. I like the fast-paced nature. We didn't have it in the show notes. I thought genuinely Lyra Valkyria versus Bayley was one of the best matches of the year. Good God. And you know where they should have done that? If you're not going to do it at WrestleMania, that would have been a treat at WrestleMania. Should have just done it last week in London. That match deserved that London crowd chanting, "Oh, Bayley, ooh, ah." And Lyra Valkyria, right from around that corner, ringing from Ireland, man. It would have been an electric atmosphere for one of the best technical women's matches that I've seen in the better part of a year. That match was incredibly good.
Great. Another loss for Bayley. I'm sad.
What do you want me to do with that information? Ooh, you're sad. You're sad. Bayley lost. Oh no.
Yeah, I am.
Bayley lost
2 months in a row, bro. 2 months.
No. And now she's gonna tag team with the one that beat her. Isn't that basically like sitting in a hotel cuck chair and teaming with the person that just beat you? Yeah, I know what hotel cuck chairs are. I know what those chairs are there for.
Where did we turn? I don't like it.
I just don't get why they're teaming. It makes no sense.
I'm ejecto-cito, brother. I'm out of here.
There will be people in the comment section that understand the hotel cuck chair. I see you. Let's talk about El Grande Americano and Rey Mysterio. Kind of crazy, man. We're going into another year with
kind of crazy, man.
Kind of crazy. Another year where we're going to miss Chad Gable on the WrestleMania card. No ridiculous Chad Gable match. I think that is ridiculous. Look, I love El Grande Americano. I think it's great that he just joined the roster, getting this mega push, getting a match against a legend. And he's a legend in his own right. But in my opinion, Chad Gable kind of earned that match with Rey Mysterio, kind of like how last year Chad Gable was the one that earned that match with Gunther. But once again, a bigger star steps in and takes Chad Gable's light. I think this could cause the crowd to turn on Grande Americano for taking the spotlight from what has become a beloved crowd favorite in Chad Gable. Chad Gable versus Rey Mysterio would have been fantastic. Don't get me wrong. El Grande Americano versus Rey Mysterio is going to be a lights out match. I just feel for Chad Gable, his family, and Chad Gable fans that once again, Chad Gable is missing out on a deserved WrestleMania match. It's kind of sad.
No, I know. Listen, you're blaming the wrong person. You need to blame Triple H. This is Triple H doing. This is the second time he does this to Chad Gable. You think Chad Gable has a choice in this matter? It is Triple H's booking. Let Papa H cook. Well, he cooking the wrong way here, brother. There's someone right. You ever see you get passed over. Someone goes out with somebody else besides you. That's Chad Gable right now, dude. Triple H always seeing the new hotness and not understanding what's there right in front of him, dude. Sometimes there's the man that stands in front of you right there, and that's Chad Gable. Loyal, yoked, re-signed with the company. Easily could have gone to AEW if he wanted to, but no, Triple H promised him greatness. And have you seen Chad Gable's physique on his Instagram?
He's looking great. Looking great.
He's looking lean, dude. Looking lean
as hell. You know what Chad Gable is? He's the secret hot girl from 90s movies that isn't hot simply because she's wearing glasses and has her hair up. Every 90s movie has that reveal where like, oh my God, she was there as a friend and loyal the entire time and she was hot? What? That's Chad Gable. He's going to realize one day, once Chad Gable removes the glasses and lets down the hair, that was the beauty he should have been chasing.
Like, what do you think Chad Gable has to do? You think Chad Gable has to put on a mask to be able to get a spot at Mania?
At this point, it might be the only way. It might be the only way.
That sounds ridiculous.
Put a mask on.
That sounds ridiculous.
Change your name.
Why would you cover Chad Gable? He's already been overlooked so many times. Remember when Jason Jordan and Chad Gable were what was their team?
American Alpha.
American Alpha. And what happened when Chad Gable was overlooked and not pushed and not being touted out as Kurt Angle's son? Missed opportunity.
Agreed.
The biggest, I would say that's probably the biggest blunder, one of the biggest blunders of the McMahon era by not giving Chad Gable Kurt Angle as his
there
father.
is a scene in the original Scary Movie. It's at the very beginning where the killer is chasing the girl and she sees on the table.
Well.
Okay. Well, not everybody does. She's running away, and then on the table there is a gun, a grenade, a knife, and a banana. And in that moment where Vince McMahon was choosing as to who is going to be Kurt Angle's son, he picked the banana. I don't get that choice. It makes no sense as to why you didn't pick Chad Gable for that.
It was right there. And once again, Triple H had an opportunity to put the IC title on Gunther, didn't pick him. Has an opportunity because wasn't Chad in a program with Ray before all this went down?
Yeah, he was. Right? He was.
Weren't they building? Didn't Chad Gable remove the mask of Rey Mysterio?
No.
Am I remembering that right?
That was Xavier Woods.
Yeah, Xavier Woods. He removed
El Grande Americano removed the mask of Dragon Lee, but why
not book Chad Gable versus Ray and then Dragon Lee versus Grande Americano?
I agree. Night two matches there. Give some
pre-show match.
Why not? Why not?
Why not?
And look, there's so many drop storylines, right? We had the Austin Theory babyface turn completely dropped, and now the Chad Gable going on a vision quest to learn how to beat luchadors. They dropped that. It seems like they aren't really exploring that anymore. We got the vignette of him going to Mexico, getting the mask, and then getting a box, and then nothing. And we don't know what they're not continuing this storyline. So you guys want to say let Papa H cook? He doesn't even finish storylines that are happening before our very eyes. It's insane. I'm looking forward to El Grande Americano versus Rey Mysterio. Do you think they should make this a mask versus mask match?
I mean, clearly Triple H doesn't know what he's doing. If he did, he would make it a mask versus mask match. But what's up with Ray, dude? Was Ray afraid of Chad? You think Ray's afraid of Chad Gable?
Do you think Ray buried politically Chad Gable backstage so that 100%. Chad didn't get this opportunity?
He is the locker room leader.
Classic deadbeat move.
Yeah, because remember, it was Chad Gable who talked to his son. He talked to Dom, and I saw Chad talk to Dom, and I didn't like that. So, you know what? No match for you.
Hey, Ray, why is your son in my DMs?
That is how dare you, sir, toss that accusation, dude. That's kind of a very like heinous accusation these days. That I think the kids of this era know how deep that is for someone to be in your DMs. Like, oh my god, how dare you?
DMs are a sacred thing, man. DMs are a sacred thing.
Were you in my DMs or was I in your DMs?
Oh, you were in my DMs. Yeah.
Are you sure? Are you sure about that?
100%. I promise you
Are
were
you
in my
sure
DMs.
about that?
1,000,000%. You snuck into my DMs, and now look, it's flourished into a beautiful love. Sometimes all it takes, folks, is one DM. If there is a crush out there that you have, go ahead, shoot him or her a DM, a respectful DM, because it might end up with you doing a wrestling podcast with them.
Hello, perhaps, my lord. Would you like to partake in a podcast? But yeah, man. So, do you think Chad Gable made a mistake re-signing with WWE? Because he would be having banger matches.
Clearly, he did. Missing WrestleMania to me should be the final straw. If there's an opt-out clause,
is this 2 Manias?
Should leave. 2 straight. No,
he had a match.
Nope.
Really?
Yeah, he had a match at 39 in the tag team showcase.
A showcase. Wow,
yeah, showcase, not even a real match.
Yeah.
And then he missed WrestleMania 40 when it should have been him and Gunther. They gave that to Sami Zayn, bigger star. And now he's missing WrestleMania again. And I just don't know who to talk about with this, because somebody needs to be scolded for their usage of Chad Gable.
I blame Adam Pearce. You can't forget about Adam Pearce. Worst GM.
Nick Baldus.
Nick, you would blame all GMs too. Why not?
Sure.
Why not?
LA Knight Jacob Fatu was made as a WrestleMania match. Okay, so you called me in the middle of this match, right? And you're like, who do you think is going to win? And I said, Jacob Fatu. And you were a little bit surprised by my choice. Here we are. Yeah. Even though I predicted it, I'm still surprised. I didn't think that they were going to do a singles match for this championship at WrestleMania between LA Knight and Jacob Fatu. What are your thoughts going into this match? By the way, that last man standing match ruled.
Absolutely. One thing I got to point out there is Braun Strowman, the leader of the Freight Train Nation, had an opportunity, and I think it's a shame, because I started to like Braun Strowman a lot.
It's a shame, lobster head.
So many loves. I fell in love with him. Okay, I fell in love with Braun Strowman again. He did nothing different. Didn't do anything different at all. Did the same kind of things, but the idea, what I was saying in the review on Patreon, is that Bronson Reed ended up looking the best out of the Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed matches. But this Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman match made both of them look great. It felt like two heavy hitters, and it was so confusing at the moment where Jacob wins, because it's like, oh my God, Braun was like right there. He almost stood up too. It was very Rocky 2-ish. Yes, Rocky 2-ish. Very Rocky 2-ish for how that went down.
Who's the villain of that one? Is that Mr. T?
Rocky 2 is Apollo
Clubber
and
Lang?
Rocky Part 2. Clubber Lang is Rocky 3.
Rocky 3. Yeah. And then Rocky 4 is Ivan Drago.
Yeah, Rocky 3 had Clubber Lang going, hey, woman, how about you get with a real man? Like, oh, God. Jesus.
Sancho, if we were both hypothetically single and we went out to a bar, I would literally pay you $20 to see you try that line on somebody. I would maybe $50 to see you try that line.
But you would have to back me up, because I'm gonna get hit, sucker hit. People would fight for less in a bar scene. You know that.
That's true.
If you want, wow. But I have to be wearing like a Braun Strowman shirt.
Raw. That's that you're wearing.
Hey, woman. No, I think this is interesting, where we thought that the United States title would be the big money man ladder match, whatever, 12 entire.
So you just said an amalgamation of words. We thought that it was going to be the big money, big man ladder situation.
12. It's just so straight up one-on-one, and I think it's going to be the Sol Sikoa thumbing, you know?
You think Solo gets involved in this match? Yeah.
The old thumbaroo, brother. Right in the old
the gizzard.
You think you know what would be wild if Jacob gets hit with that and still beats LA Knight?
Oh, that'd be crazy. He just knows he doesn't even, he just does his face.
You know what I'm enjoying of this idea, this prospect, because it's been brewing and not a lot of people have been talking about it. When LA Knight does his little, he
Yes.
makes fun of Jacob. They always cut away to it before it really gets a moment in the sun. And now we're going to get it in the moment of the sun. Cause I'm like, oh man, this would be a great gift to send to people. LA Knight. And every time I'm trying to get it, the camera cuts away to it. So I think it's gonna be great. I think, I would say this as like if I had a mission statement as the LA Knight Glazer, if you go to the Glaze Factory on the wall of it's going to say LA Knight is at his best when he's getting beaten down by a good heel, and Jacob Fatu is going to be that guy that's going to beat him down, and it's going to be a great match. I think that whole mid card, how they set that up was so good with Braun Strowman sitting there, and then all of a sudden you had LA Knight come in, then you had Tom and goes, yeah, you're gonna be like, yeah, like all that. Come on, dude, you had to be on board with LA Knight when he did that to Tama Tonga. Come on, dude, and then he was like, hit my music, and he walks away and does the LA Knight, and the crowd picks up on it. Come on, man, like we were wondering what was happening with the mid card. And they gave the belt back to LA Knight, and immediately a huge upgrade. Braun Strowman's elevated. Jacob Fatu's elevated. Tama Tonga's elevated. We're missing Jimbo. R.I.P. Jimbo. We're missing all that. So I'm excited, and I think this is going to be one of those ones where I tend to think about it. Like, it's wild to me that the single matches I'm looking forward to the most because they're going to be easier to follow. They're going to be heavy hitting, and you have that match, and then you have Naomi and Jade. Like, those are going to be matches that we're going to remember more so than the multi-man and the multi-women matches that are going to be coming our way.
I'm looking forward to this. I thought it was a neat surprise that we're going to be getting a singles Jacob Fatu match, although you
keep forgetting LA Knight. I love you. You say Jacob Fatu match. Hello, who's on the other side of the card?
With LA Knight.
What
I was gonna say,
what? The United States title. You need to put some respect on LA Knight, sir. Jesus, it's not like when we go, oh yeah, like the match Cody's gonna have at Mania. The match Cody's gonna have at Mania. The Universal match with Cody. How would you feel? How would you feel, sir? You'd be like, where's John Cena? That's what I'm doing here.
The Jacob Fatu match at WrestleMania, man, is going to be really, really entertaining. I can't wait to watch Jacob Fatu have a match at Mania versus someone. I'm just happy that Jacob Fatu is getting this moment at WrestleMania. But what I was gonna say is, it does kind of feel sad that we're leaving behind Braun Strowman in this. We could have had a Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu match at WrestleMania.
Be good. Oh, I hate that. Be good. It's like that Shrek 2, man, with the big old gingerbread man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, like
yes. And he's like, be good.
Yeah, so good. So good.
I need a hero. So that means what? Braun Strowman's, he's going to have to win. I think he wins that Andre Memorial,
I think he's already won it, hasn't he?
Give it to him again, dude. And he's gonna say, "I'm Braun Strowman." Come on, man.
Who? If there's is that who you want to win that? I'd want like somebody else. I'd want a non-big dude. I'll take. Why Otis, bro?
Wrong big dude.
Whatever, man. I'll take like Carmelo Hayes. Randy Orton, so he can take the trophy and celebrate on the ramp at WrestleMania. I hear voices in my head. They come from me. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the 2025 Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. All right, man. We're getting to that 2-hour mark. I'm going to start to pumpkin up.
No, don't you dare do it, you little pumpkin. I'm
starting to wither into a pumpkin, brother.
You little Cinderella.
Let's get done. We missed New Heat Order last week, man, and two people got real mad.
I thought, you know what I wanted to do was open the show in New Heat Order.
Dude, what's in the background? Are those PS2 games or DVDs?
PS2 games.
What's pick up the best game there? What's the best game in your opinion?
The best game out of everything? Sure. 1 second.
Oh, hey now, you're an all-star. Get the game on. I won't even tell the audio listeners what you picked out. You should know by that song that I just sang. All right. Well, let's jump into the new heat order. Sancho, you want to tell the people what this is? The part of the show that 90% of you skip.
Yeah, we see the analytics. We see the drop off. I always help, like, okay, people are like, wow, man, they always come to my stream when I'm streaming. They go, oh, man, Sancho, man, you should be having more viewers, man. And I go, keep coming back then.
Oh, man.
I can't do everything.
Oh, you know what?
Man.
We should probably talk about Bianca,
Yeah, sure. Oh, no, yeah, Rhea, yeah.
Yeah, man, I think did Rhea break her nose again off of that deadly missile dropkick from Io Sky?
There's some
good lord
on that drop kick, brother.
That dude, the whiplash on that looked so bad, but Io Sky got to stand tall, man.
That big boulder of Bianca Belair, good lord, dude.
Dude, she is a genetic marvel. She has such a crazy physique. I'm jealous of it, like genuinely jealous of it.
But I figured out how to amplify that now.
Yeah.
You know what she does?
She's oiling up. She's oiling up, brother.
Come on, dude. Step up.
I know. But I like Bianca's promo there. I like how angry and snappy she was at the fact that Rhea was in this match. Like you've done enough complaining. You don't get to talk anymore. You did enough complaining to get into the match. Just sign the damn contract. Loved it. I love Bianca's segment there.
My only hiccup in it all is that it's Adam Pearce's idea, and it should have been Io Sky's idea. And it should have been Adam Pearce. Io should have convinced Adam Pearce to do the match.
I agree.
They happen so many times, like, do the match, Adam. I don't give a care. Do the match. And Io should have been that way. And instead, it's Io's hand being forced, and now she's at a disadvantage. And it makes Rhea look petty, and it makes Bianca look angry, because justifiably so. And it makes it doesn't make a good mixture, man. That's what. Here we are. We could have had a PLE match between one of these three ladies, and it would have been built up if we would have just gave them something to do at Royal Rumble, things of that sort. You know, you got to have more matches on PLEs to build out some of these feuds, rather than throwing them into these segments that are repetitive. It's the same thing over and over again. Oh, here comes Io, but this time she's gonna do missile drop kick. It's got to do so. Yeah, she's adorable when do that. But there's like so many things that needs to happen that are not happening for the ladies, and they make decisions where we have to connect the dots. And Rio could have missed this Rumble, that the missed this Mania, the way that happened, dude. Because what do you have to do to make a brawl hit harder? Keep pushing the narrative, keep pushing the envelope. And they went from slaps to let me do a stiff missile drop kick, which I don't think it's Io's fault. Is this the timing on that is so particular, because you have to remember there are times in wrestling when someone gets that whiplash effect and they don't know when someone's going to come, they can't brace for it. Like, you remember when you turned on that guy in Destiny Wrestling?
Tyler Turva.
Yeah, you should remember his name.
I will always remember. I'll always remember.
And you gave him, you were so kind that at least you gave him an opportunity to brace, you didn't just hit him when he wasn't ready. You let him get into a balanced place.
Fair enough.
You're merciful. But
let's roll.
Did anything else get announced? I mean, Jade and Naomi, I absolutely gonna love that. And that keeps getting better and better. When Naomi got on the microphone and was like, "Let's go," that was amazing, dude. I think yes, more Naomi, please, because you want to know how she lost the glow. 201. Pumpkin time!
Oh, I have pumpkin, brother.
He's a pumpkin. Folks, this is the new heat order, backed by popular demand. This is one of those moments of the show where we talk about who's got the buzz, who has all the fun, and who is bringing the noise on the road to WrestleMania. It's not necessarily who's the best in-ring, who doesn't have the best ring psychology, best promo. It's that who gets us excited the most. It could be anybody. It could be an announcer. It could be Tozawa. It could even be someone that is just being talked about a lot. So who are we looking forward to the most? The new heat order. Who do we have last? Oh, last time we had good old John Cena at top of the list. This was the last time we did it. This must have been after Because we had Grande Americano at 3. We had Jimmy Uso, Jay Uso, Naomi, Charlotte Flair, Liv Morgan, Io Sky, and Dragon Lee. Who did Dragon Lee have a banger match with? Did he have it with Grande Americano? That's what
Grande Americano. Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So, who is number 1? May I make a bidding, sir?
Go ahead.
For Tiffany Shred.
I would say Tiffy and Charlotte 1-2. Like, it's the most talked about thing all week, right? We're not saying it's good. We're not even picking sides. I think it's just 1-2, those two. That is the most talked about thing all week, and that's what the new heat order is. Who's creating the most buzz? Can I throw 3 Ludwig? Like somewhere in here? Like, this is the most talked about Ludwig has ever been.
If he was on TV, he was on international TV, and that doesn't count.
Why does that not count?
Because it's
oh my god, that's the most arrogant American, and I'm proud to be an American thing I've ever heard.
It was a commercial
for you. The rest of the world now, India, by the way, doesn't get commercials, and they're on Netflix, and they're a way bigger population than your bum asses will ever be. Yeah,
number 3.
And I'm proud to be.
It needs to be in the middle of the ring. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It was on the sideline. That's a commercial Put him in the ring.
Arrogance.
Or have Wade Barrett
Arrogance.
goes, and bring out Logan Kaiser. I'm afraid I got some bad news for you, Charlotte. It was right there. You blew it, Wade. You could have said it, dude.
All right, so we got 1 and 2.
Number 3.
Punk revealing the favor. Coming to the aid of Paul Heyman. You just didn't like the segment. This is not your opinion, Sancho. This is objective.
There's more buzz for Paul Heyman than Punk. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That was a problem with the
Have we ever had Paul Heyman? Like, does he count? You want to put him in?
Yeah, I think he's 3. Like, everyone's talking about what Paul Heyman's going to do with these favors.
Okay, sure. Go ahead and put Paul Heyman.
Let's put Paul Heyman in a genie in the bottle match, dude. Get 3 wishes.
Genie in the lamp, Sancho. It's Genie in the lamp.
If you wanna be with me, it's your price to pay. You gotta run me the right way.
Okay, all right.
He's a genie in a bottle, Santi. Come and let him out. Do you remember when it was Britney versus
Christina Aguilera? That was a big thing. Yeah. You were on one side or the other.
Who'd you pick?
I was Britney. Britney,
nice.
bitch.
Dun, 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 dun. All right, number 4. CM Punk. Kevin Owens?
Yeah, Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
You didn't know that was toxic when I did it? There's no
baby, can't you see? I'm a
toxic
guy like you.
Great song. Great song.
This is why people leave New Heat Order. Do not think of them. We have AJ Styles, Logan. No. Jay?
Yeah, give me Jay. Give me Jay. Not the crowd. Give me Jay, though.
I call my mom. Said her brother's in the hospital. Number 6. Gunther did nothing. I mean, he could have. It was important for Gunther to be there so he could say, "I'm not afraid of you" to his face. So I get that.
I don't think Gunther did anything.
He was not necessary.
Have you put Punk in yet?
No.
Put him in.
Put him in. You didn't even care about the New Heat Order. Pumpkin.
And Roman.
Number 7. I don't think Roman's high up there this week. I mean, Roman had that problem. He was like, "So what are you gonna do, wise man? You crying right now?
That's great. It's great.
No crying in wrestling."
Roman
at
Braun Breaker, bro. That spear.
Dog, Braun Breaker should go at number 1 then. I put Braun at 7.
That spear.
I want to put Dom at 10, dude.
Okay.
There's an inkling. There is You smell that? The winds of change. The people want to see the belt on Dominic Mysterio.
I feel that. Dude, he was getting a pop, man. People were cheering for him.
He hit the craziest Mexican destroyer. Like they floated for a second.
It looked like Penta landed like perfectly upright on his head.
Those are my favorite Mexican or Canadian destroyers. Those are my favorite, where they are still standing. See, the difference is, though, in AEW, they would do another one, and then another one, and then they would do one more move, and then they land on the
I don't
ground.
know, man. That was pretty crazy. Go back to it. It was super kick, Mexican destroyer, 619, Penta no cells. It was the frog splash and Penta counters it.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to say in the very beginning of this episode, AEW and W, we're the same, brother. Different vehicles, all the same. Number 8 and 9 are open, sir. We have War Raiders, New Day, Pretty Deadly.
Randy?
We had Street Profits. Randy?
We're talking about Randy. Oh, Ray Phoenix, bro. Ray Phoenix.
Oh, 8?
Yeah.
Okay. Reggie. I still think Ray's debut wasn't as aura as Penta. Penta has a little bit of something. There's a little bit of the extra edge for Penta. And like how when he walks into the arena, he has to do that little stroke, his little suitcase as well.
He sees the camera and he instantly knows to turn it on.
I think that what Ray was missing was shout outs to Nathan Frazier though.
Yeah.
Whew. Shout outs to Nathan Frazier. It was a double debut almost. I feel that with Ray, the promo wasn't a home run. It was a double, you know. Penta's debut promo was like emotional, right? Whereas Ray, he had that emotion when Ray Phoenix, he had that emotion when he won the 1, 2, 3, and he starts crying because he knows finally I'm out. I've been waiting on the shelf forever, and I finally get to move on with my life and do something great. And Penta had that too, but he had that great promo in Southern SoCal. So
and his family was there. That helped.
My family,
mi familia.
Thank you. You are stupid.
My ribs. You're stupid.
Nothing beats The Rock selling the spear, though. Rock has one of the best sells for the stunner, and now the best sells of the spear.
Oh man, the Tom and Jerry scream that people edited into the Rock spear. Oh, so good.
My favorite is still like when you get in trouble with your little cousin.
Yeah. When you accidentally hurt your little cousin in the playground.
Oh no. All right. Number 9. You know what? Where's Nia Jax?
I think she's on vacation. I think she said that on X. I think she's getting the Sami Zayn treatment, getting some time off during Mania season. What about Grande Americano? Does he Mania date like already debuting at WrestleMania? Got a pop from Minneapolis.
That's a legend.
Hell of a match.
It has a legend in Rey Mysterio.
I think it
got a quote tweet from Triple H.
Yeah. Wait, does El Grande Americano have a Zone X?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I gotta follow that. Yeah. Give me Grande.
Grande Americano. Would you like no foam, or what kind of milk would you like with that?
Milk foam. I don't know the difference.
He doesn't. You don't drink Starbucks.
No, I do not.
What do you drink? What's your coffee choice?
It
doesn't matter what your coffee choice is. It's better when you're a little pumpkin and I smash you.
Let's wrap this up.
Let's get out of here. All right, folks, here's your new heat order. These are very expensive graphics made from my daughter's pink Crayola here. Number 10, Dan.
Oh my God, that looks like a serial killer's note. Oh my God. I didn't know that's what you were using to write. You use red too, or pink. That's horrifying looking.
These are the people that are on my list. Number 9, Grande Americano. Number 8, Ray Phoenix. Number 7, Braun Breaker. Number 6, CM Punk. Number 5, Jey Uso. Number 4, Kevin Owens. Number 3, Paul Heyman. Number 2, Charlotte. Number 1, Tiffany. It looks like Jeffy.
It's Jeffy. My name Jeff.
Oh, dude, if I was playing Marvel Rivals, I would say that right before I swallowed everybody up. It's Jeffy time. Dude,
All right.
what a great thing. I'm trying to like oftentimes I always wonder, well, what's the chat comments gonna be like? Oh, they're gonna go ahead and say, oh, how dare they? Oh, we didn't even talk about Dynasty.
Bro, I can't talk about it. I literally only watched the Kenny Omega match, great triple threat. I
Oh,
watched
you
the
little
Will Ospreay
fucker.
match, which was great. And you're not keeping me here longer. Pumpkin Santi is already here, and I watched the last 5 minutes of the main event. That sucked. I'm done. Moving on. Well, you're not reviving this pumpkin. I'm ready to do Patreon. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Wrestling is Cool podcast. He's man over here trying to water this pumpkin that's already rotten. Thank you very much for listening.
We named the plant. Everybody. Yeah. The plant's name is Mitch.
I thought it was CM Plant.
No, it's Mitch.
I thought it was CM Plant.
Who says you could name this plant?
Thank you so much to our 15th. God damn it, let me finish this episode. Thank you very much for what. I swear to God, Sancho, if you talk about your succulent one more time, I swear to God.
My succulent.
Thank you very much for watching and listening to this episode of the Wrestling is Cool podcast. If you are a $15 patron, we thank you for your support. It is because of you that we're able to do what we do as often as we do it. You also get access to our movie night. We just watched Doom. If you didn't watch it with us, you missed out because Doom was awesome. And you also get your name read out here as a producer of the show. So next special thank you goes out to El Grande Americano, greatest WWE signee. First patron, I Crazy Dude says Santi is off the stacks train. Abdullah Kaja, Adam Pacina, Aiden S, Alex Regal, Alan Teflon Don, American Nightmare Cody Lander, Andrew Brown, Andrew S, Anita Max Win, Anthony, Antonio Arjona, Antony, Arrogance, Ashley Asperlit, Ozzy Kingslayer, Austin Gregory, Authentic Chocolate, Bailey Saunders, BFT is the skull crushing finale with less steps, Be Hostile, Blast Pass, Bluefish, Brad Sharp, Brady Keaton, Brandon Fribley, Bryce Burt, Caleb Hurley, Caleb Williams, Cameron Noel, Cameron Warrig, Cameron Talks WWE, Carlos Gonzalez, CB, Cena, Cody, Double Turn at Mania, Chase Rose, Chimchar Collectibles, Chris Butner Lucas, Chris Eastes, Chris Eric Clark Jr., Christian Billick Clay, CM Drunk, Colby Mayo, Colin Ketchum, Colin Roach, conductor of the Pentatrain, Connor Fitzsimmons, Connor Hoffman, Connor Williamson, Cody Whiptim, Corey King, Sci-Fi, Dalton Dunbar, Danny Lamp, Danny Gunk, Dart, Darren Dunstan, Derek Barnhart, Devin Greets, Digi316, Dylan Stapleton, D. Lopez, Dom Should Win Everything, Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome, Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome. That's right, the same Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome, where they're putting on Crash Nebula on ice. That's right. I know the whole thing, and I'm proud of it. Drew Ashford, Dumsky, Dylan and Areola. Man, I've lost my train of thought. Edhard Sean, Eduardo Avila, El Jochi, El Ferreira, Emmanuel Holmes, Eric Rees, Romero, Aaron Thorne. Everybody loves Henry Ramon. Isach, What's Under the Hat, Sancho? Are you bald? Fishing with Papa J, Fletcher Walpole. That was the name. I didn't ask that question. Floating, FMFCMA.
They're paying $15 to say whatever they want, brother.
Whatever you want.
They can say yeet to me and what?
You know what I picture under the hat? I picture a little rat controlling Sancho with the dumb things to say. Is this a safe place? I think rats should be given more rights like humans.
Are you going to Finn Balor me to like Dom? He's like, that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. That you have a rat you have a rat controlling you under the hat. That's what they're saying. I don't think that way, but that's what they're saying. Fruitful Vibes, Gamerscape, George Valdez, Gilbert Deans, Goat Man of Cheese, GXA Man, Hartfeld, Henry Ramon owes me $1,000. Who is Henry Ramon? Henry Ramon is all over the place.
Everybody hates him.
Dude, Henry Ramon is becoming a character in this universe. Hoodie Cam, Ian McNugget, I'm Braun Strowman, Isaiah Rodriguez, Issa David, it's me, no, it's Mista, it's Astro Kid, it's Christian, I'm Braun Strowman, another one. Oh my god. Jag Givley, Jack Parker, Jackson. Oh yeah, we're in the stretch of Jacks. Jacob Mueller, Jacob Pena, Jacob Staffel, Jaden Solomon, Jacob Shavoya, Jacob Kufus, Brian Balago or James Ryan Balago, Jason De Dios, Javier Rodriguez, Jalen Steele, Javion McDuffie, Jay Angel, JC Worley, Gene Carlos Capellan, Jeremiah Finley, JJ, Jay ladies and gentlemen, my name is Joe Velez. Oh, interesting. They've changed that. Anyways, Joe Rowe, Jolly Green Giant, Jordan Lynch, Josby, Jose Ceja, Josh Musto, Judson Daniels, Juicy J 153, Juliana Sarfi, Justin Brooks, Justin Perkins, Kai Lone Star Jordan, Caleb Martin, Kevin Bega, Kawaiti Rigboogs, Kyrie Lawrence, Liam. I'm struggling with names today. Lil Shifu, Ludwig Kaiser, Luis Aguilar, Luke Parker, Luke Sika, Mama Chodes, Manly Man, Mark, Marnie YCSM, Matthew Dollar, Matthew Oberg, Matthew Watkins, Mossy, Max Dupree, McQueen X Mackay, Meredith Lee, Michael Purnell, Michael Paz, Michael Vera, Miguel Paredes, Mikey Rada, Mitchell X, Muhammad Albanai, My Dad May Come Back with Finn Balor Singles Push, Nellen Zach, Nicholas Kyle, Nighthawk, Nina Ray, NyQuil Pad, Noah Booth, Noah Burden. Not everybody loves Henry Ramon because he's a jerk. Henry Ramon, back at it again. Obi Nobi, Oliver Hammonds, Osama Awad, Parker Moore, Pat R, Pat Mark, Peter Novak, Pig Nuts, Pimcaw, Preston Smith, Frody, Puke 1904, Puppet Spanker Johnson, Randy Cooper, Raw Daddy, Reaper God. I really emphasize Raw Daddy there. Retrievers for Life, Ricardo Ramirez, Rick Marr, Ricky Dutcher, Robert Holder, Robert Rogers, Rock Block, CJ, Rocky B, Rice Ruffo, Riley, Ced Vega, Sam Duke. Sancho doesn't get a safe space. Sancho is always right. Santi, love child of Cena. Santi's $300 traffic ticket. Oh my God. I know what you're referencing. I hate you.
You got $300 traffic ticket? What did you do?
I was telling the story that I was at a red light and irresponsibly, I pulled out my phone at a red light and then I started playing Pokemon Go at a really long red light and I was trying to capture a Hypno. And then a police officer literally rolled up next to me at the red light, pulled me over, $300 ticket for playing Pokemon Go, and I didn't even catch the Hypno. Sauce God, Saudi Rig Bugs, Scarlet K, Screamos God, don't pull out your phone while driving, folks. Semba, Seymour Butts, Shaggy WWE. By the way, that guy's picture was a Hypno, the Santi's $300 traffic ticket. Shane, Shitstain Nakamura, Sip God, Slowtoke Rodriguez, Stephanie Vaca lookalike contest in my bedroom, Stucky, Suckin' Back Dill. Okay. Sugar Shane, Super Malachi Galaxy, Taco Bullfish, Timon Bryant, Tanner Cloudis, Taylor Moon, The Final Pebble, Timmy Fitzmaurice, Toasty Boy, Tobias Burnett, Tom Lehman, Trent Head, Tyler Free, Tyler Logan, Tyler McGarry, Vegan Penguin, Venom, Vin Diesel is the only one that can beat Cena. Juan Pablo III, where's that referee? The Rock's trying to fuck me. White Mexican, William Martinez, William Newton, Willie Cecil, WWE Undisputed Dumbass, Sir Nightmare, Xavier D. Lewis, Javier Izquierdo, Zach Zmira, Deadshot, Zach Griffin, Zach Hewitt, Zach Butcher, Zay2K, Zergzito, Zoom, hashtag we want more Sancho analogies, Lord BBNJ. Thank you all very much for supporting the channel. That is the most amount of $15 patrons that we've ever had. We appreciate you. Thank you for your support.
If you heard it this far, you should join today.
You should. You should. If you're a free member and you made it this far, that's crazy. Take care, everybody. We'll see you guys in the next one. Be wonderful people and take care.